River in Wilcox County, I'm not saying you need to go to your tornado safe place, but you definitely need to have it identified.
Yeah.
If you live in a mobile home especially, now is the time to be thinking about where you would go. Ideally, the time was when the tornado watch got issued.
Yeah.
Ideally, the time was days ago when we told you there's a severe weather risk. But if you haven't done it yet, that's fine. We all procrastinate from time to time. Go ahead and do it now. Now's the time. You know, family member, friend, storm shelter. The answer's different for everyone.
Yeah.
If I could tell you specifically where to go, that'd be great. But the answer is different for all of you. Some of you live in a mobile home and you're next door to your Aunt Susan, and you can run to Aunt Susan's house anytime. Some of you live in a mobile home, and the answer for you is a 15-mile drive to a different family member's house. So the answer's different for all.
Or down the road to a storm shelter.
Community storm shelter, right. So the answer's different for everyone, but let's see, got a severe thunderstorm warning for NWS Mobile. People asking about Mom. Mom is doing all right. She is resting comfortably. She is still in the hospital, which I did hate to leave her there, but we've got family there, we've got friends there that are helping, and she totally understood with the storms happening. She is stable. She had stents put in her heart last week. One of those, a blood clot got in it, it partially collapsed. She had an additional mild heart attack from that, but they've re-stented it. They put a bigger stent in. They did the little balloon thing. I'm not a doctor, I don't know, but she's doing all right. So I did want to address that as the elephant in the room. Yeah, TDS west of Lucedale in George County. That's that storm that's coming into Mobile County, by the way. So tornado warning continues for northern Clark, severe thunderstorm warning, western Wilcox, southern Marengo, western Monroe, and much of central Clark. And now we are, the tornado warning down here will soon start flashing with black accents, because we have our software programmed to do that when we get confirmation. And the Weather Service is telling us tornado debris signature just west of Lucedale in George County. So that's right down here. Let's do this. We're in the mobile radar already, but I want to pull up that storm relative velocity. There's your tornado just left of the L in the word Lucedale. Let's look at the debris, and we will animate this. That makes it a little easier to pop, but that's going to be it right in there. That last scan. That's definitely tornado debris. So we'll stop the animation. That's it right there. So this is in Mississippi. This is a tornado debris signature right here. What you're looking at here is it's called correlation coefficient. This tells us how do the sizes of the things flying around in the air relate to each other. Are they all about the same size? Are some of them really big and some of them really small? When you see these kind of smooth colors, that means everything's essentially the same size. These are all raindrops. Whew, yeah. When you see this, that is an extremely clear indicator.
Have they indicated it yet, if you zoom on out?
With the polygon? If they haven't, they should.
They should. They haven't.
Not yet, but that is a very clear as day tornado debris signature on the northwest side of Lucedale, Mississippi. And what this means is everything inside of that is not the same size, which means you've got tree limbs and bricks and boards and tree leaves and things like that the tornado is pulling up and lofting into the air. And our beam height out here in this part of the world is pretty high. Off the Mobile radar, that's going to be a few thousand feet above the ground anyway. I'm going to try to look up and see.
We're not going to go there, but just the severe thunderstorm warning did move into Wilcox County. It popped that threshold.
Yes, I saw it, yep.
I just thought I would mention that.
Oh, that's good. That's a good mention. They're saying the TDS is no longer evident. All of this is moving pretty steadily to the east. So we showed you that a minute ago. We'll show you that again a little later on. But the entire line of storms is moving to the east. So we'll pop back. I think Mobile is probably still our best bet.
Yeah.
We'll go to the home perspective here, wipe that out, and show people the motion. And understand, look, there are more storms up here, but I'm using the mobile radar because the strongest storms are down here, and I want to show them to you in the best detail. Mobile radar can't see forever, right? So there are storms up in this part of the state. They're not nearly as severe, and the environment, frankly, farther northwest of Montgomery is not all that storm supportive right now. It's far more supportive down here, but zooming you out, let's do this. We'll just switch over to the National Radar Composite here in the Vance Law Firm Storm Track Zone, and that way we can kind of eliminate that confusion. National Radar Composite is great for showing you a large area of storms. It loses a lot of its value when we're zooming in and trying to really fine-tune those small-scale, pick out those small-scale things that really identify storm threats for us. But this is the idea. Yeah, you've got this line of storms now that runs from about Alabaster to Centerville, Brent, Marion Junction in Dallas County, Linden, Grove Hill, and then curves back into Mississippi. Everything you see here is moving east rapidly.
Very quickly.
So look, hey, Demopolis, yeah, I think you could make the argument in the city of Demopolis, the risk of severe weather is ended. It has not in southern Marengo County, but I think everywhere, you know, north of about Jefferson in Marengo County, the tornado risk is in the process of winding down very quickly. Josh, do you think they'll weaken by the time they make it to Enterprise, Ozark, et cetera? I actually do think they'll weaken some. We were losing daylight, obviously.
The warmth, yeah.
It's still 73 at Montgomery, but it was 85 earlier.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do think as they move east, eventually we'll see a weakening trend. The problem is, I think, over the course of the next hour or two, I think we may see an uptick.
Yeah.
With the storms coming out of Mississippi,
yeah.
especially down here, south of Highway 80, west of, say, 331. So if you were to draw a line from Meridian to Montgomery to Opp, this part of the state right down in here, I think that's where your greatest risk of a tornado, some damaging wind, that's where that risk exists now, along and ahead of this line. So that's the lay of the land from that standpoint. Let's go back into southwest Alabama where we have those severe thunderstorms. Actually, I want to go to Birmingham. I want to look at the Selma storm, see what we see there.
Just popped up anything?
And just make sure we're not missing anything there, because the way that storm's kind of twisting, you're getting a little miniature bow. Sometimes those you can hide a little
turning in on
quick
itself.
rotation in there. Mid-level, yeah. I mean, it's extremely weak, but I do think
nothing too tight yet.
You know,
yeah, right
you
there.
need to watch there and there. That's kind of along
that continues to move in. We'll definitely keep an eye on that.
Yeah. So look, there's no reason to panic or even go to your tornado safe place now in Dallas County, but do know there's some pretty intense storms in there, and they are moving in your direction. And look, that's side lobe contamination. There's not even rain there.
Yeah.
So forget that one. That's the one. It's right along the apex of the bow. However, as this moves towards the north, I suspect right up in here, the top of those bow echoes sometimes can spin. You can get a little apex. They're called apex circulations up at the top of that bow echo. So that's something we'll kind of keep an eye on. But Selma to Valley Grande to Plantersville, get ready. Heavy rain, thunder, lightning, gusty wind on the way. We'll turn the lightning back on.
Yeah.
Lots of strikes in this, especially in Perry County now. For Marion, the worst of it is through you, but if you live up around Sprott, this is still kind of tracking over you right now. So from Sprott back down towards Hamburg, Marion Junction in Dallas County, this is all sliding east. So next in line, Maplesville, Plantersville, Valley Grande, Selma, Billingsley, Independence, Otaugaville, and downstream eventually, Marbury, Pine Level, perhaps as far south as Prattville. I think the worst of that storm probably goes a little north of downtown Prattville, but I think it's really close. Yeah. Let's do that. Yeah, I think the far southern edge of that will clip the far northern edge of Prattville would be our estimate. But look, if you live in Prattville, this may miss you to the north. It's a close call, but all that back there is going to come right on
so
through.
don't say, when we say that it's going to go north of that, don't think that you're in the clear quite yet.
We're talking about that specific storm.
We're still thinking about all these other storms that are in the southern portion of the state.
Yeah, really, right now, the only place we could give kind of in our area, hey, no more tornado risk is probably Demopolis. I'm not even sure you could say it for Marion yet, because some of this may, if you were to get a left turner on the top end of one of those bows, but
it's getting closer up there.
We're still in the thick of this, but yeah, Demopolis to Marion to Clanton, I think by 12:30 in the morning, your risk is over.
Yeah.
It's going to take longer than that, though, in a lot of the rest of the state. Do you think Deatsville will get severe weather today? It's possible. A lot of the what about questions. And what I always say about those, because Facebook, the comments, it's just what about Geneva, what about Highland Home, what about Troy, what about Otagoville, what about Deatsville?
We'd be here forever if we went through every single
Well, here's
city.
the thing, too. The honest answer is we don't know. If I knew right now that a tornado was going to hit Highland Home, I would be telling you, hey, a tornado is going to hit Highland Home. Or I would be going door to door, banging on the doors, trying to say, hey, look, there's a tornado coming. We don't know. No one knows. What we know is there's a line of thunderstorms that's going to push through. It's going to affect most, if not all of you, with heavy rain, thunder, lightning, and gusty wind. In a few isolated pockets, circulations could spin up and we could deal with a brief tornado or two. But we have no magical knowledge hours in advance of where that's going to happen. All we can do is track existing circulations and tell you area-wide there is at least some risk of a brief tornado. So, and Madeline's watching one now. That's the Clark County storm.
Yeah.
So that's rotating southwest of Thomasville. That's that active tornado warning there. And that warning runs until midnight. For exclusively Clark County. Now the question will be,
does it pop on over to
do
Wilcox
they extend
County?
this over into Wilcox? If they do, we will take this coverage. We'll leave what we're doing here, but we'll also take it over to WSFA 12 News on the TV side. Do storms weaken as they travel? Sometimes. Yes, I actually think this one will strengthen a little in the next hour or two and then start to weaken after that. So again, the what about questions, I've already answered that. We don't know. Right now, we know there is a possible tornado west of Thomasville, and even that, listen to the words I said. We know there is a possible tornado.
It's not confirmed
It's radar indicated. That means there's spin above the ground, but we don't have any way of knowing if that spin extends all the way down to the ground, especially here where the radar beam is over 5,000 feet above the ground. That means literally if you got in a hot air balloon and went up 1 mile straight up, radar can't see any of that. So it puts us and the meteorologists at the National Weather Service in a real bind, trying to figure out what's happening in this part of the world down here. So they tend to leave tornado warnings up as a course of least regret. Okay, let's tap out of that. The Mobile office says they're going to let that southernmost tornado warning expire in a few minutes. That's this one here for Loosedale. I think they're going to keep that northern one. At this point though, so this is what we're again sort of up against. See within this line, you've got a little kink there, and 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 a little kink there. Right now, some of these could be producing tornadoes. We don't know, but as the line moves east, these little kinks will sweep north pretty quickly and be replaced by additional ones. And it's like playing whack-a-mole. One will pop up, they issue a tornado warning. Then it spins out, and then the other one pops up. So that's why, again, the what about questions just don't make any sense. All we can tell you right now is the southern half or so of Alabama has a tornado risk. That risk is a 2 out of 5. There is the imminent threat of a tornado in parts of Clark County, parts of Mobile County, parts of Washington County. For everyone else, it's watch, wait, and see. Right? And that's what we're all in this together, right? I'm just inviting you into the process on this. This is a tricky night with these little embedded circulations within these lines of storms. So we'll reset the stage now. It's now 11:30. You are watching continuous weather coverage on WSFA.com, the First Alert Weather app, Facebook, and YouTube. We welcome all of you, regardless of platform. We are platform friendly. We just want to help you get some good weather information. So there is an active line of thunderstorms that extends from the southern end of the Birmingham metro back through Chilton, Perry, Dallas, Marengo, entering Wilcox, and Clark counties. A couple of these storms have some active warnings with them. There's a tornado warning for northern Clark, severe thunderstorm warning for southern Marengo, western Wilcox, western Monroe, and much of Clark County. More tornado warnings down into the Mobile area. But none of the storms right now, Selma to north, there's no warning with any of that. It's this cluster back here that's prompted those active severe weather warnings. So that's where we are with that.
I'm curious. I'm gonna go back and take a look at this Selma one just to see if anything has kind of up towards the Valley Grande. Nothing quite yet.
All right, Storm Prediction Center, I think it's about to, they are firing off a new tornado watch right about now. And we will have that for you graphically in just a moment.
I don't think it'll be that one. That's his Outlook.
Boo hiss.
Go to, if you go to weather apps, app videos, it'll be there, but we'll know like the actual.
What folder is it saved in there?
I have no clue. That's a Nick
How do
thing.
you not know?
I know. It might be under severe, yeah.
I just looked at Nick.
Right there. We found it.
We are working on pulling up the new tornado watch for you so you can see it. It'll take some time to kind of trickle in.
Oh, yeah.
I suspect Mobile counties are in that too.
Yeah.
But those counties have probably not, Mobile hasn't probably pumped those out yet. Mm-hmm. So the new tornado watch, we'll wait to show it until it's totally right, but we've got it up in a different weather graphics box that's going to walk us through that. But the new tornado watch includes essentially all of our area.
Yeah.
Chilton County is not in it, but almost everyone else is. Mm-hmm. And that will include those Mobile counties. They will fill in momentarily. You saw Georgia pop in. Did you see that?
They're even expanding it all the way into Georgia.
Yeah, new tornado watch. I think that runs until 8 a.m. Yeah, so a lot of people may be joining us now because their weather radio went off with the tornado watch. We are streaming weather coverage of a line of storms moving through now western Chilton County. The weather getting bad now around Maplesville and Plantersville. Yuck. Torrential rain, thunder, lightning, probably even some small hail in that, and probably some 35 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts as well. Right now we do not see enough rotation in that to make me think there's a tornado there. However, this is a storm that I think will need to be watched. As it moves north, it will encounter some a little boundary and a little enhancement of wind shear. So the threat level is not overwhelming with it. Eventually, it will move out of the storm supportive air, but as it interacts with the boundary on the north side of Chilton County, we can't rule out a brief spin-up tornado with that. Right now, we think the main concern would be torrential rain, thunder, lightning, gusty wind, and small hail. That's not an overwhelmingly dangerous storm, though. Stay indoors, that sort of thing. Coming into Selma now, let me show you that, and then I want to show you the new tornado watch. It was just issued, so we'll walk you through that. This is downtown Selma in Dallas County. The storm is not here yet, but you can tell the wind's rocking that camera a little bit. It will not be long until Selma is in the grips of that thunderstorm. Here's the new tornado watch. It includes essentially every county that we serve minus Chilton. Which is kind of odd to me.
It's kind of odd.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm curious. I'm really curious what the atmosphere looks like there. Like, why did they decide to exclude Chilton County? I'm curious.
Right.
What's different?
What's different there versus other places? So yeah, we're going over a lot. There's a lot happening right now. We've got the tornado warning in Clark. New tornado watch issued 4 minutes ago. That runs until 7 o'clock in the morning. However, let me tell you what will happen here. Most of the counties in this will be canceled well before 7 a.m. We think that the main timing west of Montgomery, west of I-65 is essentially right now. And then east of Interstate 65, it's more 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and by 4 o'clock, most of you are done with the severe weather threat. So this is not going to last forever. You've got another 3 to 4 hours in most of our area, and then this will kick on through and be out of your hair. But unfortunately, we're just not there yet. So that's the new tornado watch. You'll notice severe thunderstorm warnings blanketing the line over here, and with a few tornado warnings embedded in that, one in Clark, and then more back into southwestern Washington and western Mobile County. So that's the lay of the land here as of just before 11:30. And there's that Selma cam again. Look, now it's raining sideways. Yep. Camera's rocking. Got a pretty stout storm.
You looked away for 1 sec.
It's rough in Valley Grande. Cammie telling us that. Cammie Miller, thanks for that report. Valley Grande getting rough now with heavy rain, thunder, lightning, and gusty wind.
They did put a severe thunderstorm warning for the Selma area, for that area that we're watching. It's not a tornado warning, but it is a severe thunderstorm warning.
Well, let's leave the camera up and watch this together. This is the ASC Credit Union camera network. This would be just north of the Alabama River, just across the Edmund Pettus Bridge as you come in from the south there on Highway 80, Main Street. You cross the river on the Pettus Bridge. If you were to look up and to the right, if you're coming from the south, you would see that camera perched high above Main Street there. So raining sideways, torrential rain, gusty wind, frequent lightning, all in the mix there. And they have indeed popped that new severe thunderstorm warning. That looks like it's for northern Dallas. Let's pop off of here quick and show you that. There's that polygon. So it's really for the core of that north of downtown Selma. So Selma's getting this part of the storm. It's not quite as strong. This core up here, though, they're concerned about some damaging straight line wind gust potential. Valley Grande to Plantersville. So if you live along Highway 22, Plantersville, Dallas County High School, southward back to Valley Grande, stay indoors. You don't need to go through that tornado safety plan at this time, but stay indoors anyway.
Stay weather aware.
Just kind of keep your head on a swivel. The good news is this is moving east pretty quick. And once we can get this line through, life gets better in a hurry. There are some more storms behind it, but a lot of these are going to go more south.
I would say Marion now is
pretty well done with the risk of severe weather. Yeah, Marion, Demopolis, in our area, those are probably about the only two that I think we could say are clear. But if you live in the town of Marion or the city of Demopolis, Marion is in Perry County, Demopolis is in Marengo County, you are done with the risk of severe weather. But those are really about the only two places in our area that we can give you that sort of all clear with. Let's go back to the southern storm here. We've got that active tornado warning down into Clark County. This does include the city of Thomasville. We'll switch over to the Mobile radar. That gives us the best look in here. That storm relative velocity, this is just a impossible part of the state.
Yeah, because you don't see
because of radar coverage, because, again, the closest radar is in Mobile, which is a long way away. Our lobbying efforts were able to get the radar beam out of Mobile lowered a little. That has helped some, but the reality is we still need a full-fledged National Weather Service radar in southwest Alabama. That would save lives. Our congressional delegation is aware. They are working on it actively. So we are too, but that's where that is right now.
Yeah.
What time should we be prepared in Waverly, Lee County? It would be late. I'm talking like probably 2 to 4 a.m. My man Bill Stabler. Hey, Bill, how are you doing? A couple more warnings down in the Mobile area. Active tornado warning here. Probably, I think it's best to just stick with reflectivity on this, just because
you don't see much when it comes to velocity.
And even the reflectivity, it's a really messy signal here. There's 5 places where that thing could be. I mean, I think odds would favor something in there, but back there, I mean, you could have multiple embedded small circulations now. And so they're just kind of, I think, leaving the tornado warning up as a course of least regret.
What is, if you look at the chat, Josh, what is Mobile saying about that?
Let's see here. They are saying Greene, Washington, and Mobile County tornado warnings will expire in a few minutes. They will be issuing a new warning downstream into Washington and Mobile County for multiple circulations spinning within the current tornado warning. They haven't said anything yet about the one coming out of Clark into Wilcox.
Okay.
Why is there a tornado watch in Alex City, Alabama? Thought y'all said there wasn't a chance of tornadoes in this area. Nope, we did not. No one has said that. I think the chance is lower for you than it is in southwest Alabama, but at no point has anyone said there's no chance of tornadoes in Tallapoosa County. So
I don't think I even mentioned Tallapoosa County specifically by name.
Why do you hate Tallapoosa County?
I love Tallapoosa County. I think it's one of my favorites. It's shaped as a T.
Yeah, I know. It's easy to pick out.
Easy to pick out.
Easy to pick out. Why are y'all not on the TV? Because there is no active tornado warning in the WSFA 12 News viewing area. That's why we're not on your standard television right now. So we're doing streaming work. which honestly, as many people watch
A
streaming
lot of more people watch that than
than kind of your standard
TV,
over-the-air television. We need to talk to the TMPs and see what we have at midnight. I do think there may be value in whenever we re-air the 10 o'clock news, we should just take that half hour and just go. Or I should. You need to go home. She has to do.
When do we re-air
she
it?
will be on TV
at 11 a.m.
in 11 hours from 11 hours and 15 minutes from right now. You'll be on TV.
I'm really curious about this and it went away. Never mind.
What tornado warning?
What tornado
Whatever
warning?
do you mean? Whatever do you mean? Dr. Salome's not in this hospital. I just saw him.
I look back and it's gone.
Gone, just like that. Hey, that's good news.
That is good news.
They allowed the tornado warning to expire in Clark County, instead kind of bracketing that storm with a fairly long severe thunderstorm warning. It goes all the way from Marengo, western Wilcox, almost all of Clark County, western Monroe, northern Baldwin County in that mix as well. So then we have multiple tornado warnings down in the Mobile area. Yuck, look at that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of one after the other there. Let's go in and kind of identify some of the stronger circulation signatures that we're seeing within that. And this is a mess. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat that. Up and down this entire line.
Yeah.
It's just sort of
I think every nook, every kink that you circled a little bit earlier, I think that they went ahead and
just sort of bracketed the whole thing. Which is, from their perspective, I get it. I understand why they're doing that.
It's unpredictable sometimes.
It's just, you could have and these are the types of tornadoes, they're typically on the ground for 2 or 3 minutes. EF0s, EF1s, they're on the ground for 5 miles. They can be really bad. They can be life-threatening. But they're exceptionally difficult to warn for because they're embedded within these line segments. They drop, they're up, they drop, they're up. So that's why we need you on your toes tonight. Because of the kind of fast-hitting, short-fuse nature of some of these tornado warnings. Do we have any chances in Booth near Posey's? We have a storm shelter. When should we get in it? You should get in it when there's a tornado warning issued. Right now, you're fine. Up near Booth, Posey's Crossroads, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. There is a storm coming out of Dallas into Watauga that could produce damaging wind gusts in the northern half of Watauga County especially. So we're watching that storm very carefully. Right now, I don't think you need to go to that tornado safe place, but that could change, right? So,
the difference between a tornado watch and a tornado warning. Tornado watch, you want to stay aware. You want to keep your head on a swivel, like you were saying, Josh. But then but you wait until a tornado warning to actually take action, and that's when you'll go into your tornado safe place. Is when you take that action.
Yeah, WSFA is not on Dish Network right now. I'm not getting into all of that. That's between the company that owns WSFA and Dish Network. I have nothing to do with any of that. I hope they get it figured out, obviously, because I want everybody to be able to kind of rely on what we're doing. But that's the beauty of streaming, is you don't have to fool with any of that, especially when we're doing like we are now. We're streaming this live on Facebook and YouTube. You can get those. So there are alternatives. And if you know someone who's on Dish who wants weather coverage, share this stream with them. Just tag them in the comments or something where they'll see it and drive them over here so we can kind of help guide them as well. So severe thunderstorm warnings up and down the line there. Then you've got the tornado warnings down in the Mobile metro area, specifically right now northwest of Mobile. So Citronelle, Saraland, Pritchard, back to the Mississippi state line, essentially the northern half of Mobile County. Downtown Mobile is not in any of these polygons yet, but the way this is trending, I suspect that's going to change in about a half hour. Do I think the line will remain this intense as it moves east? I think it's kind of a bell curve. I think it's going to get a little stronger over the course of the next hour or 2 or 3. And then I think after 2 a.m. as it moves east of I-65, I do think there will be a gradual and subtle weakening. However,
I drew a line.
You could still have a tornado within that area when it is weakening. I've seen that happen a million times around here. So the odds of a tornado, in my view, are highest now through about 1:30 in the morning. After that, they start to diminish as this moves into the wiregrass. But that's all going to take some time. There's not going to be a snap your finger moment where we can say, okay, it's 1:48 a.m. There's no more tornado risk. The tornado risk is fairly low now. It will go up a little, I think, over the course of the next hour or two, and then it will go down over the following 3 hours after that. But it's not a dramatic line in the sand moment. It is a gradual decrease in the risk until the storms move into Georgia, and at that point we can say, okay, we're fine, is the way this goes. Timing for Prattville, I would put that
probably within the next
probably between 12:30 and 2:30.
Yeah.
I would say would probably be the maximum time frame of concern for you in Prattville, between 12:30 and 2:30. Same for Montgomery as well. Will y'all be live during the time frame it is expected to reach Montgomery, Auburn, Waverly? Probably so. It'll depend on the strength of the line. If it remains this strong, or we have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings up and down it, we certainly will. Let's go into the Maxwell radar. I want to pop up to that core up there. That's a rough-looking storm.
Yeah.
So this thing's loud. Maplesville, back down to the western tip of Watauga. Lots of thunder, lots of lightning, potentially some gusty wind in that as well. We'll zoom in here. This is the raw velocity. This is not storm relative, but it gives us some idea as to some wind speeds within this. 45, 50, 55 miles an hour. But remember, radar is measuring sort of the horizontal movement of wind here. What will happen is, I suspect, eventually that core will collapse. So this purple core right here will collapse, and you'll get this, it'll almost be like taking a bucket of water and pouring it on your driveway. You know how when the water hits your driveway, it goes whoosh and spreads out really quick? It'll be the same kind of concept. So a lot of times the velocity will show 30, 40 mile per hour winds until that happens. When that core collapses and spreads out, you'll get the radar a few minutes later will tell you, oh, the wind went crazy, but by then it's too late to warn people about it. So what we will look for is if we see this purple area begin to shrink fairly quickly as new radar scans come in, that would be a really good tip-off that we may be about to see a pretty significant wind damage event unfold up here into Watauga and southern Chilton, by the way. So northern Watauga, southern Chilton County, the wind damage threat is beginning to increase a little bit there. So, and what we're talking about there is really kind of this loading up process where you've got a pretty sizable amount of water getting pulled up into the air by the storm's updraft. And so what that can do is it can get you into some trouble pretty quick. Let's see if that's the one. It's not.
Click on the slice.
The slice?
Never mind.
Well, we
New
had
technology.
We had a button on here. What in the world is that?
That's showing the levels. You turned off the radar.
Okay. So we used to have a keystone button on here where you could just move it. Ah, Eureka, look at you. So this is sort of like an MRI of a storm. And look, right there you've got, it's going up, I think, higher than that. But storm, pretty intense. You've probably got a hell core up to 20,000 feet in this.
Yeah.
And eventually that storm updraft can't hold it all anymore. It's almost like a juggler that just keeps adding a ball, adding a ball, adding a ball. Eventually they all fall down.
Yeah.
And when they fall down, there's usually straight line wind damage. So that's the reason for kind of concern in that whole mess of a situation there. So we'll pop that off. We'll pop this back on here in the Vance Law Firm Storm Track Zone. And yeah, that's the strongest storm in central Alabama by a huge margin now.
Everything else is kind of...
Yeah, kind of, but that is different radar
different
too,
radar.
so it may be that. Birmingham radar in there. Severe thunderstorm warning there. Looks like we've got a little skid on that one. Let's see if I can. So that's the storm track on it. I guess, but let's try this. Let's turn the warning off and then hit that and see if that gives us any.
I think if you hit the...
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So the BTI on that storm is a 4.2. That's the Barron Tornado Index. Top now 29,700 feet. So radar echoes with this going up almost to 30,000 feet. The hail core on it probably almost that same number. So that's the deal there. pretty strong storm.
Yeah.
I worry about, this thing's got that line look to it. Do we start to see some kinks form in that line? Because one thing the National Weather Service pointed out earlier today was there's more wind shear in the environment than the models had hinted at.
Yeah.
So if you can get a sustained storm updraft, which we have here, eventually that wind shear starts to crank up a little bit, starts to affect that line, and we start to see more of those little small-scale circulations like what we're seeing now in the Mobile area. So that's what I'm watching as this comes into Watauga and southern Chilton counties. Not only is there a damaging wind gust, but if all of this holds together, eventually I think you could start to see some brief rotation in that mix. Let's clear that off and see what we see. A little bit right there.
Yeah, that's kind of when if you go back to the radar, it's kind of
where there's a little kink right in there.
There is a little kink, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, kind of wrapped in the rain on the bottom end of that little kink right there. And that's Birmingham. We can look at Maxwell too. Pull up the adjacent radar. New scan coming in there. It's like the same sort of idea. Right now there's nothing overwhelming, but it's definitely a storm to be watched.
Yeah.
I think that's why the Weather Service has popped that severe thunderstorm warning. Pine Level, Marbury, Independence, Billingsley, Plantersville, and then the southern end of Chilton County around Verbena, back up to around exit 205. If you live along Alabama Highway 22, if you live along US 31 south of Clanton, you're in that polygon. Again, that's a severe thunderstorm warning polygon, not a tornado warning. That's a severe thunderstorm warning with a strong wind in the mix there. So that's the story with that storm. Let's go back to the wider perspective, and I want to take you back down into southwest Alabama. Active thunderstorms ongoing here now as well. Back down into western Wilcox County, raining torrentially now just west of Miller's Ferry. Catherine, Alberta, Safford, Grove Hill, and then back down lots of tornado warning polygons down into the Mobile County area. Really, essentially, the northern two-thirds or so of Mobile County, everywhere in Mobile County, north and west of Mobile is in a tornado warning right now because there's this very messy line of storms coming in.
It's very messy.
And you've got
every
just
single kink.
Yeah, like kink there and a kink there and a kink there and a kink there and a kink there. Any one of those could be producing right now a tornado. Any one of those could be producing a tornado 45 seconds from now. Any one of those could produce a tornado that lasts 30 seconds and then it lifts. So again, the warning process here is extremely difficult for our friends at the National Weather Service office in Mobile. Severe thunderstorm warning has been canceled for Dallas, but continues for northern Watauga and southeastern Chilton counties. So a little update there. Trees down in Choctaw County along Alabama Highway 17. That's the storm we were tracking for you earlier there. That moved into Clark County downstream. Devontae says, "Gonna eat this pork chop and drink this last beer." He didn't even bring us one, man. That's bogus. And I would take either or both. Pork chop, beer. I mean, it's your world, man. So that's the Mobile County side of this. In our area right now, so far so good. This is working out okay for us to this point. Now, the issue is, how long does your good luck last? You've got this kind of line of storms here up into Chilton and Watauga, and then another cluster of storms there, southwestern Dallas, southwestern Perry County, and then much of western Wilcox. Heavy rain now falling again up near Miller's Ferry, back towards Pine Hill, Catherine, the Prairie community up there, Gastonburg, Alberta. If you live along Highway 5, it's raining torrentially now.
Yeah.
And that's all in western Wilcox. But everything you see here is moving pretty quickly towards the east. Let me go back into the Barron model here, and we'll walk you through the timing on this. So by 2 o'clock in the morning, the line gets closer to Monroeville, Camden, Selma, on up into Chilton. I think you could make the argument it's pretty close to where we are right now.
Yeah, I think that what we're seeing I feel like what we're seeing on the radar right now is going quicker than what we're seeing in the model. Definitely.
Let's do this. Let's try the HRRR and see if it's having any better luck. So that's essentially right now where it's initialized. I think that's too slow.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's closer for sure.
It's probably a little closer than the other piece of data. But generally speaking, the idea here is I think for Montgomery, Prattville, Millbrook, Pike Road, Lounsboro, Wetumpka, Cusata, your timeline is going to be around 2 a.m., give or take an hour in either direction. So we'll call it 1 to 3 a.m., Alex City, Eclectic, Wetumpka, Montgomery, Prattville, Millbrook, and then curving back down into, I would say, even Greenville, Camden, Awin, Monroeville, somewhere in the vicinity of 2 in the morning. So we'll call it 1 to 3 there. And when you look at this, understand the severe weather threat is essentially completely isolated to the leading edge of this. All of this back here is not severe. That's just rain. So by roughly 4 in the morning, this gets into Lafayette Valley, Lynette, Auburn, Opelika, Notasulga, Franklin, Tuskegee, Union Springs, Troy, Highland Home, Laverne, Brantley, Andalusia, and Opp. Again, that would be somewhere in the vicinity of 4 o'clock in the morning. I suspect it's a little earlier than that, probably closer to 3 a.m. The line will be there. Then we'll fast forward another couple of hours. By 6 in the morning, I think it's probably out of the state entirely. But if not, it's through almost all of us. The raw data has it in Geneva and Houston counties by then. The raw data, typically on nights like tonight, it runs a little faster than what you see here. So again, to recap, Alex City, Eclectic, Wetumpka, Prattville, Montgomery, Millbrook, Pike Road, Greenville, 1 to 3 a.m. West of there, it's now, right? Now through 1 a.m., Camden, Selma, Marion, Billingsley, Clanton, Rockford, Awin, Pineapple, Monroeville. So now through about 1 in the morning, 1 to 3 in kind of that central and southwestern corridor. And then I would say 3 to 5, Auburn, Opelika, back down to Eufaula, Troy, Brundage, Elba, Enterprise, Opp, Dothan. So that part of the state over there, 3 to 5 a.m. is the timeline for you. Main concerns here obviously would be some rotation developing within this and some pockets of strong wind. Here's the Barron model idea on future wind gusts. Along that line, you'll notice 35 to 40 mile per hour winds. But look at this. This is 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Yeah. None of this has anything to do with thunderstorms. All the storms are gone. Now it's just really windy and cold. Temperatures will be in the 50s with 20 mile per hour wind gust. So tomorrow morning when you wake up, if you weren't paying attention to the weather, we've been talking about this for weeks. It feels like weeks now. But if you
don't think tomorrow is going to feel a lot like today and walk out with your shorts and your tank top. It's not going to be that way.
Tomorrow is hoodie weather.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, sure. I can't wait. I love a good hoodie.
I think that's perfect. Like upper 50s, lower 60s. I think that's like my go-to. Like that's your
jam.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. I do want to check back in on that Otaga. There was someone that said that there was rotation, just to check in to see if there was anything in that northern Otaga system.
I think that's side lobe. That's side lobe.
Yeah.
Because there's not any rain up
there
there
isn't.
in that bright band right there. As always, though, we're going to pull up the adjacent radar. Maxwell not seeing much with it. Birmingham's, I think, a pretty sizable amount closer to that too. So Birmingham's probably a good place to live there. Couple of skits showing up. The BTI on that's around 4.7. 4.7. What's that one? 4.7. So the raw Barron analysis here is showing some modest mid-level rotation within that. But look, storms rotate in the mid-levels a lot. That's not unusual. Mm-hmm. That is actually really common. So when you see the spinny thing on the radar, don't get scared. Mm-hmm. There's no reason for concern. It's just a storm we need to watch, right? So that's really where we are right now. So Michaela says, I don't understand any of these radars. Good. You don't have a meteorology degree, so we're not asking you to understand any of them. That's why we're here. We will walk you through all of these radars. We'll walk you through what we're seeing. We'll walk you through what it means for you. Right now it means heavy rain, gusty wind, and a lot of lightning in Chilton and northern Otaga counties, and then some weaker storms into Dallas, and then pick back up Wilcox and point south from there. The storms will keep moving east through the rest of the night. For 99% of you, it's just a rainy, windy night with some thunder and lightning. But 1 or 2 problem areas could evolve with damaging wind gusts in some of those, in a few spots. And we can't rule out a brief, quick tornado or 2 in the mix either.
Yeah.
We don't yet know where that would happen. Until we start to see a troubling signature on radar, we don't have any idea.
Yeah.
Once we see it, we'll call it and tell you that. So.
Brianna asked how long the season is. We are just at the start of the season. It's March. It's not even the middle of March quite yet. It's only the
This is sort of the
now
peak.
the 12th of March.
Yeah.
But it is definitely.
Yeah, November to May is kind of tornado season. This year with the cold winter we had, it really wasn't. We didn't have a ton. We had some damaging wind gusts. We had a couple of tornadoes in the mix, but the peak of it is typically second half of March and April. That's where, if you look back historically, we've had some really high-end tornado events. Speaking of history, March 12th, 1993. So what would that be? 33 years ago today, we were preparing for the blizzard of '93. Remember that one?
Crazy. That was not even a thought, so I can't say anything.
That just doesn't make me feel old at all.
I know, I'm sorry.
So, yeah, that's the, we're actually coming up on the anniversary of the blizzard of '93. So, for those who were here, that's one you'll never forget, right? So, little kink forming there along the Autauga-Chilton line. I'll turn the skits off and go back into this. Yeah, I'm not loving that.
Yeah.
So you're getting some broad mid-level rotation now north of Billingsley. This would be up along County Road 24, County Road 37 would be up here. There is no active tornado warning in this yet, but just understand there's 24 right up there. That's Chilton 24. This is Autauga County Road 24 right here. But we're starting to, there's enough in this to grab our attention. There is no active tornado warning. And frankly, nor should there be, but that shape right there, that's what you would look for and say, okay, this is the storm we got to watch.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing now. If you live in southern Chilton, northern Autauga, I'm not saying you need to go to your safe place yet. I am saying you probably ought to have your shoes on, though, because that's the kind of storm that could spin up a quick tornado as it moves on towards the east. So that's what we're looking at there. It looks like we've got a new meso out, new mesoscale discussion. Boundary layer cooling has slowed, and low-level moistening continues in a narrow corridor across southwestern into central Alabama. Latest rapid refresh forecasts further strengthening of the low-level jet across southern and eastern Alabama over the next few hours. So that's what they're saying. The atmosphere could still support increasing potential for tornadoes during the next few hours. That's essentially exactly what we told you 30 minutes ago. That I think this will be kind of that bell curve where the risk will go up a little between now and say 2 in the morning, and then it'll come back down. You know, you lose more of the daytime heating. So just, again, that's, all of this just means stay on your toes, stay weather aware. So that is your area we're watching now, right along the Autauga-Chilton line. There's not enough in that right yet to
fully indicate anything.
But look, hey, one thing we've learned, our Barron software people, they are great about training. They have a conference in Huntsville every year. We usually send a representative to that to go learn things. And one thing we learned is the developers tell us on our Barron product, whenever you see this S-type shape, that's a storm you need to pay attention to. So
we're going to pay attention.
Kind of confirming what we've been telling you, this is a storm that we've got to pay pretty close attention to. So there you see it, kind of in the mid-level rotation right now. It is broad mid-level rotation. Tornadoes need not broad, they need focused low-level rotation. So we're not there yet. There's not an active tornado threat with this, but I think there could be one at any moment with this storm. Let's see here. I'm getting on Teddy's nerves right now, talking about everything else when he has rotation. If I get on your nerves, there's an X up at the top. You just click that, scroll, turn on your weather radio, and I don't want to get on your nerves, Teddy. Come on, man.
The question is, Josh, if he's seeing rotation, I wonder why he's watching. If he's already.
And by the way, we told you this storm was going to rotate as it approached the boundary back when it was in Dallas. But you do you, Theodore. You do you. So still watching it. It is in northern Autauga almost exclusively now. But this is going to keep moving east-northeast. So if this were to eventually get into a danger scenario, I think this would be something, it would look kind of like that. So if you live at Titus, Holtville, Slapout, Marbury, Pine Level, Verbena. Again, you don't need to go to your tornado safe place yet. You do need to, I think, be thinking about where is my tornado safe place? How long does it take me to get there? And you need to be ready to move, right?
Yeah.
Grab a bag, put some stuff in it, some snacks, put a helmet, get some shoes on your feet, and be ready to move. Again, if you live in a mobile home particularly. Now, if you live in a site-built home, you can go to the lowest floor of your home, hallway, bathroom, or closet. If you live in a mobile home, there's no such thing as a safe place inside a mobile home because, spoiler alert, kind of secret stuff that we don't talk about enough, the problem isn't the home itself. The home's made out of metal. Those things are stout. It's how they're connected to the ground. Those anchorage systems are insufficient to fight the winds of a tornado.
Oh,
so
look at that, Josh. It just kind of twisted together a little bit more.
Coming on in there, isn't it? Let's check the... That looks a little better, in my opinion. And that looks a little worse. Bear and shear looks similar.
Similar.
I think you're kind of getting into that scenario like what you saw down there in Mobile County where you're just going to have a kink, a kink, a kink, a kink. The question is it warm and muggy enough up here? We know it's warmer and muggier in Mobile. They're getting tornadoes out of this. But for us here locally, there's a little bit more of a question. How much warmth is left in that air mass? We've had some rain in this part of the state today earlier. So there you go. Maybe Teddy needs a pork chop and a beer. Maybe he does.
Sounds like you're offering.
Right, yeah. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. We're not ignoring it or turning our back on it whatsoever. We will keep an eye on that. Here's the overall lay of the land. You've got a line of storms running from Clanton back towards Otaugaville, Selma, Miller's Ferry, Camden, and then it curves from there. This will move east quickly over the next few hours. For Alex City to Montgomery to Greenville, this part of the state right here, Lake Martin, Wetumpka, Eclectic, Slapout, Montgomery, Greenville, the worst of the weather will be from about 1 to 3 a.m. For some of you, it's going to be a little earlier than 1, especially the northern side of that. You get up into Rockford, Slapout, it's probably more 12:30 to 1:30, right? But for most of us, from Montgomery, Pike Road, Greenville, Hope Hull, 1 to 3 a.m. is still our estimate in terms of when the weather will be at its worst. What does that mean? It means heavy rain, gusty wind, thunder, and lightning for almost everyone. In a few spots, we could deal with damaging wind gust and or a brief tornado. Overall risk level is fairly low, but it's not 0. It's 2 out of 5. This will then move east from there. So let's do this. We'll just kind of, that's 1209. We'll do just a little quick and dirty analysis on how fast this whole thing is moving. And then I will draw some more lines. So this is 1209. So let's say I think that would be around 1 o'clock right there. And that may be a little aggressive. It may not be quite to Montgomery yet. So that would be roughly 1 o'clock to 1:30. Then I think somewhere like that would probably be around 2, and that would be around 3, and that would be around 4, and that would be around 5. So that's 5 a.m., that's 4 a.m., that's 3 a.m., that's 2, and that's 1. Again, these are really, this is ballpark, right? But I do want to, we're getting so many questions about timing. I do want to give you at least kind of something to think about on a timeline on this thing. So pick your town, right? And this will give you, again, 1 to 3 a.m., Montgomery, Alex City, Dadeville, Lake Martin, Greenville, Leadahatchee, back down towards Evergreen. That's 1 to 3 a.m. 3 to 5 a.m., Opelika, Auburn, Union Springs, Troy, Brundage, Opp, Elba Enterprise, Ozark, and Dothan. Then Eufaula. So again, very, very general timelines here, but that's how I think this will go. We'll leave that up for a little while just because we've got lots and lots and lots of questions on what all that's happening, what all's happening with that. So Craig is asking questions.
I know, he just...
They let Bam score those points. That was not at all like Kobe's 81-point game.
He just texted me saying you didn't read his comment.
Here we are. Look, they were letting Bam score those points. They stopped the game. They were fouling late. It was runaway. Kobe scored 81 when it mattered, when the Lakers were behind and coming back. Craig Excellence, get out of here, man. You and Teddy need to go have a pork chop and a beer. Coming at me with that weak logic. Not in my house. So there you go. So general timelines are here. General timelines. No active tornado warnings yet. We are still watching that storm in Autauga. I'm in Pletcher. Can I go to sleep? I'm in Montgomery. Do you think I can sleep? Please tell us how it's looking for Enterprise. Enterprise, you were hours away from anything. There's nothing happening right now.
Calm before the storm, really.
Calm before the storm. So
Probably
severe thunderstorm warning for Chilton, northern Autauga. A host of warnings in southwest Alabama. Let's go back down here. Camden getting hit pretty hard now. Let's flip over to the Mobile radar. That'll give us a good look in. Heavy rain, thunder, lightning, and gusty wind from Camden to Groveville all the way back down to Mobile. And then just a polygon palooza down in southwest Alabama. They've got tornado warnings. They've got severe thunderstorm warnings. They've got a mess on their hands. Let's do a little quick storm analysis in on this. Looks like, let's do this. Some of those look kind of debris-ish. It's hard to tell because they're embedded within those line signatures. That's too far back, though. Yeah, I don't see anything.
Yeah.
I don't see anything there. That's good, right?
Very good.
However, some of those velocity signatures, you're getting really close to the radar, so you get really good data. But for instance, like right there, both of those really, like that really concerns me. Again, that's on the north side of Mobile. That'll head up towards Creola. This would be around exit 13 off I-65, the Creola-Satsuma exit, and then back over the river there, over the, they call it the Dolly Parton Bridge. I don't know what its actual name is. That's what everyone calls it. It's probably inappropriate, but that is what they call it. So I'm speaking your language here. I didn't come up with that. But possible tornadoes kind of up and down this line throughout much of Mobile County right now. So if you have family or friends that live north side of Mobile, make sure they're paying attention to the weather tonight with multiple tornado warnings ongoing there. Closer to home, we've got the lone severe thunderstorm warning that includes Autauga, northern Autauga. This does not include the cities of Prattville or the town of Autaugaville. This is more Pine Level, Marbury, Boone's Chapel, Independence, and then up into Chilton. Right now, the main concern here would be damaging wind gust. So that's what we're looking at with that. Kind of a little bit of a bow echo there. The good news is those kinks that were forming along the leading edge of that line have really fizzled out quite a bit. Let's go to the Birmingham radar. That'll give us a better look in. You could still make an argument for some weak mid-level rotation there, but I think you'd have to put weak in all caps because it is pretty weak. I think you should go home.
Okay.
You need to get out of here.
Are you sure?
She's got to be back on TV at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I can handle it from here. Nick will be here in a little under 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
So, or right at 2 hours, 15 minutes. Knowing Nick, he'll be.
Just wait, I'm going to walk out. I'm going to walk,
early.
probably. I'm going to walk out and then, I'm just kidding.
We always say that. That's when something happens, when somebody leaves. That's like clockwork.
Yeah. Okay, well,
so.
Everyone, stay safe tonight. Be weather aware.
There you go.
Out there.
That's a good parting message.
Stay weather
Madeline
aware.
Banks, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time, Madeline.
Bye, Josh.
Appreciate you
Bye,
as always. So, yeah, now that she's gone, the party can really begin.
I know.
I'm just kidding. So, here we are, wild and free, watching some very weak rotation up in the northern Autauga area. Don't see much in that. Independence, the worst of it's kind of passing you now.
Knitter or crochet?
Crochet.
That line right there. And look, there's a ton of heavy rain still coming your way. This will clip parts of Autauga as well. And then back behind that, there's just hours and hours worth of rain extending all the way back into Mississippi. So the good news is this: when you look at this whole system in its entirety, the severe weather risk is confined to that leading edge right there. Everything you see behind that line is just rain, right? There's rain in the mix, but that's it. It's not a big severe weather tornado palooza here. It's just within this line, there are some problem areas. Behind this line, it just rains a lot. So it really does taper off very quickly when this line moves through your area. The threat goes away almost instantaneously. Is Dallas County in the clear? Not yet, but give me an hour and I think you will be. And frankly, I think Plantersville is, Marion Junction is, far western Dallas and far northern Dallas. So up around Plantersville, the line is through you. West of Selma, the line is through you. And the rest of Dallas County, give it 45 minutes or an hour and you're done. So And by the way, if I'm not saying your name, that's good. That is good news, right? I'm talking about the areas where we have the severe weather. I occasionally will look forward, and I'm about to do that again. I'm about to go through kind of hour by hour again and show you how this is moving and when it could affect you. But if I'm not saying your town's name, that is good news because we focus on the areas where the weather is at its worst. And right now in our area, I think you could make the argument Camden to Selma, that's a rough corridor, heavy rain, thunder, lightning, and then arguably I think even worse, Clanton curving back down towards Independence, Booth, Boone's Chapel, approaching Marbury and Pine Level. That's where we have that severe thunderstorm warning for the possibility of some damaging wind gusts from around the Alabama EMA headquarters, back south, Enterprise, not the Coffee County Enterprise. This is Enterprise in Chilton County. We've got a couple of those around the state. That is Enterprise in Chilton County, Midway, Marbury, Verbena, White City, back towards Independence and Booth. Sounds like we've got a new warning popping now. Let's see what that could be. What could it be? Severe thunderstorm warning for Autauga, Chilton, Cusa, and Elmore. So that's a new severe thunderstorm warning. You can kind of see it. It's a whopper. Look at that. They've issued a very large severe thunderstorm warning polygon out ahead of that line. So this would include Rockford, Flag Mountain, Weogufka, Goodwater, Wetumpka, back over towards Slapout, Holtville, Titus, Weoka, and then back into northern Autauga, Pine Level, Marbury, Verbena, and then back towards Clanton as well. Really all of eastern Chilton, almost all of Cusa, much of northern and northwestern Elmore, and then most of northeastern Autauga County, now at a severe thunderstorm warning for the possibility of damaging wind gusts within this line of storms that's moving pretty rapidly towards the east. Let's go back and show you how fast this is moving. An hour ago, it was coming through Marion Junction in Dallas County. Now it's approaching Interstate 65 in Autauga. So this is racing out quickly. And oftentimes those storm complexes that race out like that, that's where we start to see that damaging wind gust threat really go up. So I think the Weather Service is right on the money with this and issuing that severe thunderstorm warning along and ahead of that line, getting out again into Cusa, into Elmore, into Autauga counties. Strong straight line wind would be possible within that. Again, right now we don't see much in the way of rotation. There's been some on and off mid-level rotation, but it's been broad, and it has not been low-level or intense rotation. Tornadoes show low-level, intense rotation on radar. Where we can get in trouble is out in southwest Alabama where we can't see the low levels, but that's not our problem here. Like Chilton County, Autauga County, excellent radar coverage. You've got Maxwell radar right over here. You've got the Birmingham NexRad right up there. This is one of the better radar coverage areas in all of Alabama. There's two radars pretty close by. So Chilton, Cusa, northern Elmore, northeastern Autauga, damaging wind gust potential there is increasing in those areas. Back to the home perspective here. Montgomery, still dry for now. You have to deal with this, though, later. I think it'll take the better part of an hour to get to Montgomery. So I suspect for the city of Montgomery, the worst of this will be between about 1 and 2 in the morning. And then it will just kind of keep moving on east from there. Let's do another little, we'll draw some more lines here. So we'll just sort of follow along the shape of the line. I think that line right there is where this line will be around 1 o'clock, maybe a little farther east than that on the north side. And then we'll say the line is around there by 2 o'clock. And then I think by 3 o'clock it looks something like that. And then by 4 o'clock I think we're something like that. And by 5 o'clock this is almost out of the state entirely. Again, so that's 5 a.m., that is 4 a.m., this is 3, that is 2, and that is 1 o'clock in the morning. So pick your town that's on this map or the one closest to you. For those of you that are asking, when is it going to get bad where I live, these timelines will give you at least some idea. Now understand, storms don't move at even rates, right? You can already see that. The northern side of this is moving faster. That's why I have the northern side of this exiting Alabama by 3 o'clock in the morning. The southern end's taking longer. It'll take around till 5 o'clock, maybe even 6 to clear Dothan. But these timelines will give you at least a rough idea. Again, that's what it is. It's a rough idea of when the storms will be worse where you live. For Montgomery, it's 1 to 2 a.m. For Union Springs, it's around 3 a.m. For Auburn, for Dadeville, it's around 2 to 3 in the morning. For Troy, it's around 3 in the morning. For Andalusia, it's around 3 in the morning. For Ozark and Enterprise, it's around 4 in the morning. For Prattville, for Lounsboro, Leadahatchee, for Pineapple, for Monroeville, it's around 1 in the morning, right? Once the storms start, they will last about 30 to 45 minutes. In some cases, lower times. This part of the line right here is very skinny. It will blow through in 15 minutes. This part of the line down here is a little thicker. It will take the full 30 to 45 to come on through. But that's the general concept here, would be damaging wind gusts along this line. And as the line comes through, these are some general timelines that you can kind of look into and see, okay, when will this be where I am? Ideally, you've got a NOAA weather radio. If you have a NOAA weather radio, go to bed. Make sure your weather radio is turned on, hit the weather button, make sure it's getting a good signal, and go to bed. You don't have to worry about it, because the weather radio will wake you up if you need to be up. You don't have a weather radio, download the WSFA First Alert Weather app. It'll push those notifications to you as well. That's sort of the lay of the land right now. And what do I mean by bad? I mean gusty wind, thunder, lightning for almost everyone, and heavy rain. That's 99% of you, that's all this is. It's heavy rain, gusty wind, thunder, and lightning. That's it. But for 1% of you, we could have wind damage. We could have an isolated tornado. It's a low-end risk, as we've said all along. It is a low-end risk. But low doesn't mean no. So you got to be weather aware with this whole thing. All right, let me show you what it looks like now around the state. And we'll keep doing that. I'll keep drawing those lines on there and putting the numbers on there so you have some idea about when and where and how bad. Selma, it's raining now, but look, it's not raining as hard. The wind has died down here. This is the view in downtown Selma via the ASC Credit Union camera network. You see, got a little traffic flowing along. For those of you who are out at 12:23 a.m., hey, probably working, an odd shift. I feel your pain. So it is raining here, but the rain has tapered off quite a bit, and the wind has died down quite a bit as well. Again, this is Selma over in Dallas County. That's really about the only camera we have in the path of that is in the storm line right now. We really need a camera in Camden. I need to talk to some people in Camden, see if we can make that happen, but hopefully soon, right? Dallas County, wind is strong and loud. Hope we get the 15-minute storm versus the 45-minute storm. Yeah, me too. Do I need to prepare to get into your safe place? Sure, yeah. On a night like tonight, you need to be ready to get to your safe place. You don't need to panic. You don't need to be worried. You don't need to be scared. You just need to be ready to get to your safe place. All the comments, Lord have mercy. Most of them are pretty good. So let's go back into this storm. This was a doozy. Probably some hail falling up near Lay Dam right now. So for reference, there's Clanton. That's Highway 31 right there. There's 145 going back north. There's Lake Mitchell. This is State Route 22 right here. The state EMA headquarters sits right there, just near the intersection of 31 and 22, where 22 splits off. It's pretty close to that, pretty close to US 31 and I-65 intersection as well. This is all moving east, so if you live near Weogufka and Flag Mountain, heavy rain, thunder, lightning, gusty wind, maybe even some small hail in this. See that purple core right there? That would be indicative of some probably nickel-sized hail, worst-case scenario. And we actually, using our Barron technology, can go in and kind of evaluate that hail risk right now. We don't see a ton in this. It's flagging hail possible, right? And essentially the path of this storm, it's flagging hail as possible. But the scale's right up here, and all of this is on the low end of that scale. This is really not a huge hail setup around here. This is really more damaging wind and isolated brief tornadoes. I'll show you the Barron shear marker. There's shear up and down this whole thing, but we do not see strong signs of rotation. Again, what you would look for here would be areas where the red and the green are interlocked. You're looking at the wind within a thunderstorm. Think of this as an X-ray taking you inside of a storm. The red is where the wind is blowing away from the radar. The green is where the wind is blowing toward the radar. Right now, we don't see anywhere in that line where they're sort of interlocked. We see a good separation there between the red and the green. Looking out towards Lake Mitchell, again, the separation. You got red on this side, green on this side. That means there is a pretty well-defined wind shift within this storm. And as you head back down, back closer to Highway 22, Mountain Creek, Marbury, again, you see that same sort of separation. Now, occasionally, we have seen some mid-level rotation, like that right there. That's happening above the ground, likely well above the ground. Some of it is detectable. This is the lowest, this is tilt 1. This is the lowest radar tilt. But usually when you see a signature like that, it's sampling the bottom of a mid-level mesocyclone. It's not seeing low-level, strong tornado-like rotation yet. Now, if the storm environment is right, this can be a precursor, right? This can form, and then you see it tighten up, and then you go, oh no, we may have a tornado on our hands. So far, that's not the case. So far, this is not tightened up. This is about all we've seen with this, is this sort of weak, broad rotation, most of which is happening well up above the ground here. So the tornado risk within this storm is extremely low right now. I know you see the red and the green touching, and I just wanted to explain it to you and walk you through it, that's why there's no tornado warning with it. That's why there's not an overwhelming amount of concern with that. So it's not as simple as red touching green. That's kind of a misnomer in the weather world. And I think we as meteorologists sometimes don't explain it very well. So what you would look for will be where red and green are interlocked, and you're seeing very bright red and green too. We don't see any of that here with this storm right now. Understand, storms are the very definition of fluid, right? This can change, and that's why I'm doing this live stream and walking you through all of this, because this could and probably will change as the night goes on. The only active tornado warnings in Alabama are in the far southwestern sections of the state. So let me kind of first reset the stage. Storms with a damaging wind threat now affecting northern Autauga, northern Elmore, Cusa, and far eastern Chilton counties. Heavy rain, thunder, lightning, and some gusty wind into Dallas, Wilcox, northwestern Monroe, and much of Clark. Then we have the active tornado warnings down into far southwest Alabama in the Mobile area. Let's do this before we dive out. I do want to make sure we're not missing anything back into Autauga. It appears as though we are not. Pull up both radars. Yeah, I don't think there's really nothing to that. You get on the bottom end of these lines, sometimes you can form a few little kinks there, but right now, surface winds are blowing mainly out of the southwest ahead of this, which I won't get too deep into the weeds here, but when the storm is shaped like that and the wind is blowing towards the southwest, that helps us. That helps prevent tornado formation. A screaming southerly or southeasterly surface wind, the storm shape would probably look a lot different, but thankfully we don't have that. Now let's go to Mobile and see what's happening down there in the far southern sections of the state. That's where we have multiple tornado warnings and a few severe thunderstorm warnings in the mix. Just a big mess down here, as it often is. This is, in my opinion, one of the hardest places to issue tornado warnings in America is Mobile. You're so close to the Gulf. There's so much moisture. It's just a mess, right? Your LCL heights, that's the liquid condensation level, your LFC heights, level of free convection, essentially where the cloud base is, they're near the ground. They're very, very low, which makes warning for tornadoes extremely hard. You have wind shear, you have nudging storms. It's a mess. It's really hard, guys. So what the Weather Service is doing is just sort of broad brushing this line with active tornado warnings. The radar is right in the middle of that, by the way, so that doesn't help either. When you have heavy storms over a radar site, even big, strong radars tend to attenuate. Attenuation occurs when rain covers the radome itself and diffuses the beam a little bit. So the radar simply just doesn't work as well. That effect is amplified when you are dealing with a radar that is smaller than National Weather Service spec radars, like, say, X-band radars, right? S-band, that's National Weather Service, standard dual-pole radar. Your X-bands are really sensitive to attenuation. So do with that information what you will. Yeah, look, hey, sometimes tornadoes happen. Kayla's grumpy. Sometimes tornadoes hit without warnings. That's true, 100%. It's rare, but it does happen. It happens more in places where there's not adequate radar coverage. But look, we get a new radar scan about every 2, 3, 4 minutes. Sometimes when tornadoes form, they form very quickly and between radar scans. That can happen. So no reason to be upset about it. It's a fact of life. Most tornadoes in our area get a tornado warning. I think a probability of detection for the Weather Service in Birmingham is it's a good number, 75, 85%. But not all of them, right? The big ones almost always do. The ones that slip through the cracks are usually the smaller ones that form in environments like this, where they're down, they're up, it's quick hitter, there's a ton of wind shear, it's the middle of the night, there's not a lot of storm spotters on it, can't see anything anyway because it's dark, et cetera, et cetera. So, Kayla, I appreciate that. Hey, she's not grumpy. I'm probably grumpy. But what I'm saying is she's right. Yeah, sometimes tornadoes hit without warning. And we don't like it. Weather Service doesn't like it. No one likes it. It does happen. It is rare, but got to stay on your toes. So active tornado warning continues now for Mobile County. You know, we have multiple pockets within this where there could be where there could be a brief tornado on the ground. There's no overwhelming signature. I don't think we have some massive tornado on the ground in this. The debris field or debris tracker, if you will, the correlation coefficient, doesn't really show much in terms of a tornado on the ground here. But given the part of the world we're in, given the shear markers that are showing up, I think it's probably good practice to just leave that tornado warning up for now. Now, as these storms move east, you know, we'll get them away from the radar. That will help, right? We'll be able to sample them a little better, and we'll see if we had any damage reports, right? This tornado warning polygon now includes almost all of the city of Mobile. In fact, I think that does include all of the city of Mobile. The polygon cuts off halfway over Mobile Bay, so it doesn't go quite to the eastern shore yet, but if the Weather Service extends that any, it will, right? It's up on the Baldwin County line right now. North of there, you've got severe thunderstorm warnings back into parts of Baldwin County, western Escambia, southern Monroe, southern Clark. So that's the lay of the land in southwest Alabama. But if you have family or friends that live in the Mobile area, they need to stay in that tornado safe spot. There are multiple corridors within this where we could be dealing with a brief tornado. The overall risk level is not great down there, in my opinion, but it is certainly there. Watching a weak circulation entering southern Monroe County. Yeah, I don't know what the Danny thing is. I've never seen that before in my life. I don't know if we change the... If I change the source, does it change? No, it doesn't. So I have no idea what that is, where that came from, or how that's on the screen. Pretty cool, huh? Oh, I think if I star it, it shows up. So, no, it's if I click it. How about that? I'm learning something on the fly. This is pretty cool. So I'm running this entire broadcast on Facebook and YouTube off of my phone. The WSFA Weather app and News app live stream, that's a separate setup, but the phone thing is different. And if I were to click on your comment, it pops up on the screen. Who knew? Man. Lemetris asked Highland Home question. Man, this is great. Storm, hurry up. I must clock in at 5:45 a.m. Miss Nicole, you better get some sleep. 5:45 will be here in a minute or two. Should I stay up in Montgomery? No. Look, you just need multiple reliable ways of getting weather warnings. Have your weather app handy. Make sure your phone's not on silent. Plug your phone in so it doesn't die and go to bed. your phone will alert you. If you have the WSFA First Alert Weather app, you will also probably get WEA alerts if you have those turned on, which you should. And if you have a weather radio, you've got the ultimate insurance policy because those things could wake the dead. They are extremely loud. Josh Nichols, you mighty brave clicking on my comment like that. Now tell me about it, man. I didn't know what I was going to get. And I honestly I was just sort of stumbling along there, and my finger hit yours. And then when I saw whose name it was, I was like, oh boy, here we go, man. All right, let's get back to the not the random comments. As interesting as those can be, and they can be pretty interesting. Strongest storm in our part of the state is this one right here. This thing's a buzzsaw, guys. Damaging wind increasingly likely now around Weogufka and Flag Mountain. If you live along County Road 55, this is close to you. It's past 145 for the most part. It's approaching 231 in Cusa. So right around Rockford, Pentonville, Speed, then back down into northern Elmore County. There's downtown Rockford. That's State Route 22 right there coming into Rockford. This is where you could have some damaging wind gusts. Let's make sure we're not missing anything on the rotation front. We're not, right? So far, so good. There is still a little minor rotation there. Kind of see that little right there. Still some minor rotation in that. Let's just kind of check that against, yeah, that makes sense. So you're definitely getting some weak rotation north of the Richville community. Again, this is in Cusa County, north of Richville, right along State Route 22. Rockford is here. Mitchell Dam is back over there. This is a very heavily forested part of Alabama. There are more pine trees than people out here by a large margin. So I say that so you know you're not going to see this thing. Even if there is something in the mix here, you're not going to see it because it is going to be exceptionally rain-wrapped, right? You're not going to see a thing if you're a storm chaser, storm spotter, or just someone who's interested in the weather. Don't waste your time going outside trying to see this thing because it's just going to be a big, ugly mess of rain and wind in there. So, yeah, downtown Rockford. Yeah. The greater Rockford metropolitan area. Let's go back to storm relative here. Again, it's broad rotation. What do I mean by that? You don't see it locked together tightly. It's just sort of a broad pocket of rotation in that mix there. This is in Cusa County. Let's zoom out a little bit here. We'll clear the telestration off the screen. Main threat remains damaging straight line wind gust up and down this line. The raw radar data here is suggesting some pretty stout numbers, 57 mile per hour outbound wind there. Kind of up and down that line, it's in that same 25, 35, up to 50 mile per hour wind. That's why there is a severe thunderstorm warning. This is probably not going to be a large hail producer. You could have some probably pea-sized hail, but that would be about the extent of it. This would be more in the lines of a wind-producing severe weather threat. We will also watch to make sure we don't end up spinning up a little brief tornado in this mix here. The Bear and Shear product has shown persistent rotation. But remember, most storms rotate. Most storms do not produce tornadoes. That means we look at a lot of thunderstorms and we see rotation and there's no tornado threat whatsoever. That can happen, and that is what we're seeing, quite frankly, in this case. There is some modest rotation there. There's not enough rotation right now to convince me or the National Weather Service that there's actually a tornado there. But it does bear watching, which is what we will continue to do, is keep a careful eye on that. So the app went down. I'm not sure what's happening with that. I wonder if I can restart it. It would appear that I cannot. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened with the weather app. But we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Yeah, I'm not sure. We have a little stream deck over here that we use to run the app, and I'm not sure what happened with that. But we are still live on Facebook and still live on YouTube. So if you have family or friends that you think might have been watching us on the app, text them, tag them in the comments on this Facebook and YouTube, and pull them in over here because the app is down. And look, if we see something that really goes crazy here, we will immediately cut into WSFA 12 News. We'll be on the TV. But for now, we don't see anything like that. We see a line of thunderstorms that's producing some spotty threat of wind damage. Let's do this too. I want to go in and show you power outage numbers from around the state. We've actually got some decent ones. Choctaw County, 10.5% of the counties without power. Let's do the raw number, 200. So the rural counties, by the way, because of the low population, 10% of Montgomery County is 20,000 people. 10% of Choctaw County is 200 people, right? So I like to use the raw numbers. They give us a little better real-world look at how intense these storms are. Strongest in Clark County, that's not surprising. Let's go down to Mobile and Baldwin and see how they're faring. Those are extremely populated counties, but again, using the raw numbers kind of accounts for that. Notice a ton of them back in Mississippi and Louisiana. Right now, Mobile County, Alabama, about 2,000. Baldwin County, 100. But remember, the storms are just arriving in Baldwin County, so that number is going to go up in Baldwin County with that damaging wind threat coming up a little bit. Let's go back to the Mobile radar. Note now there are no active tornado warnings in this. This is just severe thunderstorm warnings. However, that may not last. Wind shear still in the mix, so you could still spin up a quick tornado out of that at any moment. So we'll watch, wait, and see with that. Why is there no green area in the Pine Level to Prattville segment like you have in the Clanton one up top? Let's go back in up there. I think I know what you're talking about. So this is storm relative velocity. So essentially, we'll get deep into the weeds here, but you're taking the wind speed that the radar is measuring, and then you're adjusting it to be relative to the storm motion. So the storm is moving, let's say it's moving east at 50. If you have an inbound wind that's blowing in, at around 50 against that storm motion, when we're looking at storm relative velocity, that will cancel out essentially, and you'll end up with zero, right? So that's that's the reason there, is because the net motion minus the storm's movement being subtracted out ends up canceling out. If you go to the raw velocity product, you see a little more green along the map there. The other thing is we also, our color tables here, right? We don't show every single thing. We show wind speeds of a certain intensity. So some of that is just, they're very low numbers because the line of storms is pushing through. This is the Birmingham radar. Most of the wind associated with this is moving away from the radar. There's very little air that is pushing towards the radar, just a very narrow line of convergence along the storm front itself, along that leading edge of the storms. Outside of that, it's all outbound, right? So that's why you see all the red, and you don't see a lot of green because, frankly, there's not a lot of green in it. There is not a lot of inbound wind occurring. I was going to try to see if I could. And here's another. I got a couple of different sources on that. Valerie says she's got cookies, so we really need to have a weather party sometime, you know? When does Pine Level exit in the clear? Gosh, you're really close, believe it or not. Yeah, the leading edge, and look, guys, the entire severe weather threat is right along this leading edge. If this is past you, you're done. So Demopolis, Linden, Marion, Uniontown, Selma, Camden, Clanton, Jemison, Thorsby, Maplesville, you're done with the risk of severe weather. Let's do this. Let's go back and we'll do another one of those lines where we talk through the timing on all of this. It's now 12:45, so I'm not going to draw a 1 o'clock line because just add out 15 minutes and that's where the thing will be. So we'll go out, I think by 2 in the morning, your line of storms is going to look something like that. It's along that line right there. So that's our 2 o'clock line. That will be our 3 o'clock line, again, something like that. This will be our 4 o'clock line. And I think our 5 o'clock line will look something like that. So again, this is 2 a.m. right here. This is 3 a.m. right here. Here is 4 a.m. and here's 5. Again, these numbers they're not going to be exactly on the money, but this will give you some general idea about when these storms are going to affect you, right? So for Alex City, for Montgomery, for Greenville, all the way down to Evergreen, roughly 2 in the morning, I think. Probably a little earlier than that, but between now and 2, that's where this will be. And then by 3 o'clock, this gets closer to Auburn, Opelika Valley, Lynette, Pike Road, Highland Home, Laverne, Brantley, back down towards Andalusia. By 4, this gets more into Opelika, Smith Station, Phoenix City, Clio, Texasville, Libertyville, Elba Enterprise, Troy, Brundage, Sampson. And then by 5, it's more Eufaula, Ozark, Fort Rucker, Dothan. After 5, I think most or all of it is out of the state entirely. So this is not an all-nighter for everyone. And look, if you live, we'll draw one last line here. If you live west of that line, you are A-OK. So we'll give you the all clear, right? We'll just write that on the map here. It is raining and windy and turning sharply colder, but if you live left of that line right there, you're all clear. It's just going to rain. It's going to be a rainy, windy night with falling temperatures. That's a big part of this story, guys. Thursday is going to be sharply colder. If you're not ready for it, it is going to slap you upside the head. Temperatures will be in the 50s, but the wind will be howling. It'll feel more like 40s. If you go out tomorrow wearing a t-shirt and shorts, you're probably going to do a pretty quick 180 and head back inside and regroup. Camping near Gee's Bend. When can I leave this bathroom building? Worst of it is through Gee's Bend. It's a rainy, windy night from here, but I don't see any additional severe weather threat for Gee's Bend. How bad is it in Otaugaville? The worst of it's coming into Otaugaville right now. So for Otaugaville, I think you've got another 25 to 35 minutes of rough weather. After that, this will begin to improve pretty quickly. Are the storms weakening? I think we're in a lull right now for sure. Now the question will be, does that lull continue or do we see it pulse back up? Let's take a look in there. Got to keep an eye on that there in northern Elmore. All right, we're good. Yeah. Okay, so what caught my eye was this little kink right there. See that? Sometimes with these line segments, when you see a little kink like that, that's where you can start to see a little rotation. But right now, when you go into the actual velocity product, we do not see any kind of notable rotation there. Let's go over to the Maxwell radar. Again, there is some rotation in the mid-levels. It's broad and weak, and it's north of that little kink in the line, right? The kink is back down here a little bit. So it bears watching, right? But right now, there's not enough in it to issue a tornado warning or for me to tell you, hey, guys, I think there's a tornado here. We're not to that point yet. But I do think, and I think that's a big reason the Weather Service has that severe thunderstorm warning up, is that is a storm to watch. If we are going to have a tornado problem north of Montgomery, it is almost certainly going to be from this storm as it moves over towards Tallapoosa. However, the farther north it goes, the less supportive the storm environment becomes. So thankfully, this storm is essentially running out of time. I think it only has another couple of, I think by 3 o'clock this is in Georgia. So if we can just escort this on through the state without it dropping one, that would be A-OK in my book. Mobile is not in the clear just yet. Do I think Prattville will get under a severe thunderstorm warning? No, I actually don't at this point. I mean, The storms back behind this one are pretty well behaved at this hour. So yeah, we would need to. I mean, look, these are gonna be bumpy storms for sure. But the lightning, yeah, there's lightning in it, but the lightning count is not overwhelming. You don't see a lot of intense storm cores in this part of the line. You don't see a ton of wind either, right? When we go to the and look, Birmingham may give us a little better look down into that, so we'll do that. You don't really see a ton of extremely strong wind in this. So I don't know that we will see a severe thunderstorm warning for Prattville. I think this would need to strengthen a little bit. Now, sometimes the Weather Service will do this thing where they issue severe thunderstorm warnings when storms like this get into more populous areas. I've seen that before where it kind of, I think you have a larger area of people who are vulnerable to a storm, so they'll pop one. If they were to do that, I think it would probably be a little more population-driven than weather-driven. But look, right, we're still in that window for another hour and a half or so where this thing could pulse up. So I'll watch and look at it. You watch and look at it. And for Prattville, I think it's unlikely, but it's certainly possible. It's not impossible that were to happen. Got a new severe thunderstorm warning that goes out into southern Clay and most of Tallapoosa County for that storm coming out of Cusa. So new severe thunderstorm warning there. Carrie, you do not need to leave for a safe space if you're on Lake Martin right now. Right now you're fine. It's about to get very windy and stormy and thunder and lightning. But as of this moment, there is no evidence of a tornado within this. There are some kinks in the line that we're going to have to watch. And we will, right? But we knew that coming in. I knew that this was going to be one of these nights where we're staring at the radar screen all night, kind of rubbing our eyes after a while, because it's just going to be one of those nights where there is a risk of a quick tornado dropping from the sky. Right now, we don't see that. So far in our area, we haven't seen that one time, knock on glass. But so far, so good. Someone DoorDash food to Josh. Thank you for the info. No, don't do that. But I would take a Diet Sunkist right now, or Sunkist Zero. Used to be called Diet Sunkist. Now it's Sunkist Zero. They changed the kind of fake sugar they use, so I guess they needed to change the name. Let's turn the lightning off. It's a bit distracting. So again, the severe weather risk now coming into Kellington. This is a big, mean, ugly storm. Lots of thunder, lots of lightning, lots of gusty wind. Perhaps enough wind to cause sporadic power outages. Coming towards Kellington right now. This is downtown Alexander City right over here. There's Kellington. This is U.S. Highway 280. This is Alabama Highway 9 running north and south. That's 280 west towards Birmingham. That's 280 east towards Opelika. That's 9 north towards Clay County, Lineville, Ashland. This is 9 south heading back to Wetumpka. There's the core of strong wind there, running from the Hatchet community, Hanover back in Cusa County, Rockford in Cusa County, Hyssop in Cusa County, moving into Tallapoosa County. So if you live at Hackneyville, if you live anywhere along Highway 63, 22, 280, downtown Alex City, stay indoors. You do not, at this point, need to go through that tornado safety plan, but we're keeping a very careful eye on this storm, right? Storms like this can sometimes spin up quick problems. As of this moment, we don't see any problems in the data. There are a couple of areas where there is some very broad rotation, but none of those catch our eye enough to make me think, gosh, there's a tornado there. So if that changes, I'll tell you. Look, I call balls and strikes. I'm not the pitcher or the hitter. I'm the umpire. I don't see enough in that to produce a tornado. Neither does the National Weather Service. If that changes, I'm sure they'll pop a tornado warning, or if I see it first, I'll start hollering about it and say, hey, I think this is a worrisome storm. Right now, that's not the case. This one's a big storm, right? Lots of red on the map. Are out around Otaugaville, coming now towards Swift Creek Park there in southern Otaga, coming into Whitehall, storming torrentially now out near R.F. Henry Dam. That's in the Benton community on the Alabama River. And then storms extend back down towards Tyler and Polk, and then from there into Wilcox County. For Camden, the worst is through you now. The severe weather part of this line is right along the leading edge. All of this you see back here is just garden variety rain. It's just raining. Demopolis, Linden, Thomasville, Grove Hill, Camden, Millers Ferry, Selma, Orrville, Plantersville, Marion, Uniontown, Clanton, Jemison, Thorsby, Billingsley. You are done with the risk of severe weather. Out ahead of the line, though, we still have some miles to travel. So There we are. Let's take you up to Lake Martin now. I doubt we will see the storm itself since it's very dark, but looks like we may have some bugs. This is a pretty dark part of the lake. This is boondocks up at Bay Pine Marina on Lake Martin. And what we're looking for here will eventually be some flashes of lightning. Right now we just see the camera is in night vision mode, so you're getting dust and probably a lot of pollen too, by the way. The pollening is upon us. Whew, it's only been here a week and I'm already tired of the pollen. And I've got this persistent cough thing going on. I think it's pollen related. But yeah, we're giving you this is a pollen alert. Water spout likely ongoing in the northern part of Mobile Bay east of Dog River. How about that? It's an update on those Mobile storms. Severe thunderstorm warning for Clay, Cusa, and Tallapoosa County. That one came out about 5 minutes ago. In Mobile, trees down on Highway 84 in Clark County. That's from some previous storms. Watching from Maui. We got people in Hawaii? Come on, man. Didn't even invite me. That's bogus. It's a total error on your part. I would be a good Hawaiian tourist, I think. I mean, like, I don't even know if they like the Hawaiian sauce you can get at stores. Actually, Judd Davis got me going on that. So Judd is a master of a lot of things. Food is one of them. My man will he'll get Publix wings and put them in the oven, heat them up, get them like hot and crispy. Then he takes them out. He gets this Hawaiian sauce from the salad dressing aisle at Publix, pours it in there, shakes them up. It's like teriyaki minus the garlic flavor. It's just got kind of that sweetness, like brown sugary. I have no idea if they have ever even thought of that sauce. I think it's mainly like a pineapple-based sauce. That's where the sugary part of it comes from. But anyway, the things we talk about at 12:58 in the morning. Can you go to bed and notice Solga? Sure. Look, I mean, I don't think this is a stay awake all night kind of storm. I think this is more of a have your weather app handy, have your weather radio handy, and you'll be fine kind of storm. The odds of a tornado warning are low, but they're not zero, so you do need to be weather aware and ready to move just in case. And we will stay ever vigilant. All right, so again, same sort of thing with this storm. It really hasn't changed much. There is some broad rotation. Right now it's southeast of Rockford. This would be a south of 22, east of 231 thing. It's right there. It's moving east. This rotation has been with us for a pretty long time within this storm. There is not enough rotation in it at this precise moment to convince anyone that there's a tornado there. That could change in any given second, or it could keep rolling along. Look, this thing's been rotating a while now. It has not yet produced any sort of significant rotation enough to even make us think there's a tornado, much less actually produce one. But until it's in Georgia, we're going to have to kind of keep a careful eye on that thing. This storm is producing quite a bit of lightning. We'll turn that on. You see all the lightning strikes up here around Goodwater, Kellington, back into Rockford. This is all in Cusa County, by the way. Let's go back to the south a bit and just sort of go up and down the line. Damaging wind threat here coming into Alex City, Dadeville, Horseshoe Bend, New Site, Union, and Hackneyville over the next 20 to 30 minutes. Clipping far northern Elmore, clipping Lake Martin. Some rotation, not enough to go through those tornado safety precautions yet. We're watching it. Okay, let's go back down to the south. A couple of little pop-up tile, little individual cellular storms here, right around Millbrook and Prattville. You see them right here, close to State Highway 14. We'll pop you in for a closer look at that. It is raining torrentially now at exit 186, raining hard along US 31, raining hard near Prattville High School, up Highway 280 out towards up 82 rather towards Atauga Academy. Some heavier rain in that area out towards Arrowhead Drive and Indian Hill subdivision out there. And then some heavier rain and some more intense part of the storm back closer to Ataugaville. See that there? Some heavy rain, gusty wind with that. Thunder and lightning and heavy rain, Milton, Fig Tree Hill, Independence, Whitewater, Ataugaville, and Swift Creek Park. Then we will keep rolling south here. Right now, there's not a big wind signature in this storm. Right now, it just looks like a lot of heavy rain and some thunder and lightning. The wind will kick up a little, but this doesn't, at this point, look like a big damaging wind setup. It's coming into Lowndes as well. It's over Benton and Whitehall now. Hayneville, Leadahatchee, Lounsboro, next in line. Coming into Braggs right now. You live near the big sawmill down there. Storms coming on in. Then it curves towards Pineapple, Beatrice, Vredenburg, and back into Monroe County. And for that part of the line, we need the Mobile radar. It gets a little stronger as you head back into Monroe. There had been some indication of some modest rotation here near Frisco City and another pocket down there in northern Escambia County, but that is extremely weak. There's not enough in that to make me think there's a tornado. So that's the status of the whole thing right now. That's the line as it sits with us as of 1 o'clock in the morning. It will continue to push east over the course of the next several hours, and we'll kind of just watch it and track it and roll along with it. I get on here to read the comments, and the first one I see is 5-hour energy is not meth. All right, cool. I don't even know how we got there, but okay. So that's cool. How are the dynamics looking for Lee County? There's a decent amount of wind shear. Let's do this. One thing I do note is you do have a little corridor of upper 60s over here. You'll notice, you know, most of the rest of us are up into the low and even mid 70s down south. It is not quite as warm in Chambers and Lee. The difference is not huge, but, you know, one thing you would need to watch for, though, if there is some sort of weak thermal gradient here, warmer air this side, cooler air this side, those can often kind of enhance wind shear locally. So understand that if the wrong storm gets in the wrong place at the wrong time, those weak little thermal boundaries can spin something up. But right now, we're looking all right. Let's see here. I'm working on the First Alert Weather app was streaming with us, and then it stopped. So I'm going to try to see if I can get that back online. It does not appear that I can. So I'll have the engineers check that out. So for now, we'll stick with Facebook and YouTube because that's what we've got. But okay, we got a clarifying comment. 5-hour energy is what I'm on, not meth. That's good. That is a good life choice. If you're choosing between 5-hour energy and meth, go with 5-hour energy. I'm not sure either one of them are super awesomely great for you. But I drink Diet Sunkist. I don't think it's very good for me either. So who am I to judge? Except the meth thing. I can judge that. That's definitely a hard pass. So, Jennifer, I'm glad you're on the 5-hour energy. That's a winner. Yeah, right. We're not live on the TV right now because we don't have any active life-threatening weather, right? I mean, we've got some storms that we're watching, but none of them, I mean, it's 1:05 in the morning. I would be coming on TV. The precautions for a severe thunderstorm warning are to stay indoors. I'm not sure a lot of people need to be told to stay indoors at 1:05 a.m. Some of y'all do, right? But you're probably not watching anyway. So we'll stay on the stream here. And I can tell you on the stream to avoid meth and do not go outside at 1:05 in the morning. Nothing good happens outside at 1:05 in the morning, does it? Very few good things, I think. So Strong wind associated with this storm now. The severe thunderstorm warning, the Elmore County part of that has been trimmed out. That storm has really trended more into Cusa and Tallapoosa, so those are the only two counties now with active severe thunderstorm warnings. We have no active tornado warnings in our area, and we haven't had any yet. That's great news. But we are watching for the possibility of some damaging wind gusts up and down this entire line. We're close to Maxwell radar. That helps. We see a few kinks in the line, but the overall intensity of this part of the line is waning. It is weakening. That doesn't mean it's gone. It just means it is weakening a little bit. I've been begging about Billingsley. Yeah, look, Billingsley, you're fine. It's raining really hard. But the risk of severe weather is over in Billingsley. It's just heavy rain. You got any severe weather would be out here, and right now we don't even have any there. You're behind this, right? If anything, in Billingsley, the temperature is soon beginning to fall for you. It will turn colder. It will continue raining most of the night. It will be windy and wet and turning colder there. But in Billingsley, the risk of severe weather is ended. So I don't want you to have to beg. I've been kind of trying to walk through. I focus on the areas where I think there is some severe weather, right? Pine Level, mobile home, I really think you're probably all right. The worst of this is going to go south of you. Let's do a little animation. See how this has moved in the last hour. That line is beginning to accelerate out. For Pine Level, look, I can't give you an all clear yet, but gosh, by 1:35, 1:45, this will all be gone. And as it stands now in Pine Level, the severe weather risk is under 5%. It will be 0% an hour from now. So Hackneyville, 63, you don't need your safe space yet. No, you just need to watch it. It's raining hard, but that's about it. Just got really warm in northern Dallas County. Yeah, you're done. There's no severe weather risk left in northern Dallas County. It's just going to rain. Let's do this so we can kind of give some people some peace of mind. I love giving people peace of mind. It's probably the best part of the whole job I have. If you live anywhere left of that line, the risk of severe weather is over. So that includes Rockford, Weogufka, most of Cusa County except the eastern half, Billingsley, Independence, Booth, Clanton, Jemison, Thorsby, Verbena, Selma, Orville, Plantersville, Maplesville, Marion, Uniontown, Marion Junction, Demopolis, Linden, Jefferson, Thomaston, Camden, Miller's Ferry, Pineapple, Vredenburg, Beatrice, Grove Hill. So anywhere left of that line, there's no more risk of severe weather. What we're watching specifically in our area is this northern storm in Cusa and Tallapoosa. This is behaving, but look, that's a big chunk of a storm. I mean, that thing it's a big storm. Right now, it's not all that intense. It's not doing much from a damaging wind or tornado perspective. But look, it's pouring rain. There's thunder and lightning in it. It's coming into Prattville right now. It's coming into Montgomery, we think, probably around 1:30 to 1:45. Coming into Leadahatchee, Lounsboro, Davenport, all those areas between now and 2 o'clock. So it's storming, yes, but right now we don't see anything dangerous in that. The only storm that we're kind of really watching with an active warning is up here into Tallapoosa and Cusa counties. So we'll go back to the Maxwell radar here. Broad rotation there. Again, you don't need to get worked up about that. Radar, these auto detect things, these rings, they're a dime a dozen, right? Just real talk. I will walk you through it. I will see it before that. I will see it with a much higher accuracy rate than the automated things, the rings that pop up on radars. That will not always be the case. Eventually the technology will pass us, but right now a good, well-trained human meteorologist, we can beat the pants off those things. So don't let those worry you. If you need to go to your safe place, I will tell you, I promise. And right now there's no need for that. It's just heavy rain, thunder, lightning, some gusty wind. I'll be interested to see, too, we'll watch Alexander City's, see what kind of wind gust we get coming through there. Let's see, Mobile Bay, circulation over Mobile Bay not as evident in the latest scans. Yeah, hey, Ariel in Otagoville, Whitewater, I promise it's a loud, windy, rainy thing, but right now we don't see any rotation in it. And look, you're right in the middle of it. I mean, that's what you got. It's pouring rain, there's thunder, there's lightning, the wind's rocking back and forth a little bit, but we don't see enough in this to make us think there's damaging wind. We don't see enough in this to make us think there's a tornado. I don't think there's large hail in it either. It's a thunderstorm, right? It's pouring rain. It's not fun. I get it. It's scary, but you're in a good spot right now. I don't see anything in this that's dangerous. And the good news is this is moving east very quickly. So for you in Otagoville and the Whitehall area, give this thing 15 minutes tops. I'd say 10. By 1:20, 1:25, the weather will be much better in Whitehall and in Otagoville. Now, it will get worse in Prattville and eventually Montgomery and Hayneville, right? Heavy rain, thunder, lightning, a little gusty wind. But we don't see anything dangerous in this storm at this point in time. Let's pop around, see what some of these cameras look like, specifically the RSA tower. Yeah, there you go. Looking back into the west, we will likely see a pretty consistent barrage of lightning coming in out of this camera shot here. Trying to keep up with the comments, but boy, it's tricky. Winds picking up in Alex City. I'm sure they are. Yeah, Alex City, I think that's the highest risk of wind damage in our entire area right now. It's probably in Alexander City. What about Opelika? It's still not to you yet. So far, so good, though. We really haven't had it has not misbehaved in any sort of big way. Anything we need to worry about for Lowndes County? No, it's raining torrentially in Lowndes, but we don't see anything from a tornado perspective or a damaging wind perspective that really grabs our attention. Let's do this. Let's go kind of up and down the line here. I want to turn the warnings off just so we can see a little better. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. Probably some really stout wind now. That looks like a little damaging wind core close to Hackneyville, a little on the south end. That's Highway 63. So if you live near Highway 63 in the Pearson Chapel area, Red Barn Road, Tallapoosa County Road 33, Champion Road, Sanford Road, probably some strong straight line wind out here right now, potentially enough to pop a few trees over, get some power outages, right? We'll keep an eye on it. We do not see any evidence of rotation in this, but the raw velocity here is suggesting some pretty intense wind gust, 50, 55, 60 miles per hour. Again, this is north of downtown Alexander City. So that's what we're dealing with that. Then these rings, we got to work on that. That's just distracting. That's just get that thing out of there. It doesn't really do me do you any favors. I have tried that, and the Stream Deck is sitting here with weird things on it. So if you want to come look at it, you may know more about it than do I. I'm sorry, there's a producer in my ear we're wondering about the Stream Deck for the website, but the live stream on the app, I have tried and tried and tried, and I appreciate that. I think someone from the web team is going to come try to help with the weather app, getting it back online. No, you don't need to go to your safe spot in Alex City. Hey, how are you doing? You want to be on this thing or not? What? Why not? Unbelievable. So that's it. It's showing that, and I tried to load the companion satellite thing to make sure it was loaded, but when I clicked it, I got this error message, the JavaScript error message. So.
Do you want to call the engineer real quick?
Is he here?
No, but we have someone call.
I probably wouldn't call anyone in over that personally.
All right.
I think what I'm probably going to do is restart the computer, because that Stream Deck runs through it. And if I can restart it and relog back in, maybe it wakes up in a better mood.
Gotcha.
That's the extent of my knowledge.
I was trying to restart it on my end and I couldn't do anything.
Well, thank you for the help. That is fantastic of you. Are you doing okay?
Doing good.
I have a business proposition for you. How would you feel about buying me a Diet Sunkist from the snack machine in there, and buy yourself anything you want as well while you're in there, as just a thank you? Seriously, anything you want. If you want a Coors Light, Miller Lite, Bud Light, we don't have any of those. But
Diet
Yeah, well, I think it's called Sunkissed Zero now, but we OGs call it Diet Sunkissed. Thank you very much. There's no I in team, right? And we've got a great team here. Have you tried hitting the button with a hammer? That would be nice. I have thought about that. Haven't done it yet, but the thought has entered my mind. Okay, so some of them are saying the app is fine. Like Quentin, he said the app is fine. And if you're just joining me, I learned tonight that we can tap your comments and show people what you're saying. Like this Emmy Award-winning comment. This is scare, comma, my cat confuse. We should make bumper stickers that say, my cat confuse. And it just has a cat on it with like a really blank stare. I think that would be money. I would pay for that. Let's pop back out a little bit. Again, the whole idea on a night like tonight, you're just sort of making sure you're not missing anything. So I like to make these fun, but we also have to just every now and then just completely stop what I'm doing and refocus everything. Looks like they let that severe thunderstorm warning, or no, I have the alerts off. That's what it is. Yeah, so this is still in effect. Southern Clay, far eastern Cusa, almost all of that is out of Cusa, and most of northern Tallapoosa County in that severe thunderstorm warning. What do you see in Jackson's Gap? Pouring rain west of you coming in your direction. Look at you, wowzers. What'd you get?
I get nothing.
Why not?
It's your money. I don't want
But that's why. But you
to take an IOU.
you turned down my generosity, though. Well, okay. Well, I do owe you then.
I'm not turning it down.
You're saying later.
Later.
Okay. All right. I can live with that. Well, next time you want something from the snack machine, just you know who to see. Sunkissed Zero. Nectar of the meteorologist. Got a little on my shirt, not gonna lie. It is 1:18 in the morning. I woke up at around 5:30 this morning and then got in a car and headed up to Anniston to see what the heck was happening with my mother. Happy to report she had a heart procedure today. She is resting and comfortable. I was with her until around 5 o'clock this evening, and then I left, grabbed dinner, came by the house, sat with the dogs and the wife for a few minutes, and then came here. So between my voice getting raspy and my brain getting tired, I needed a little pick-me-up. And it is not meth or 5-hour energy. So personally, I would call that a win, right? I mean, I think that's a pretty good thing. Joey wants a Dr. Pepper since she didn't want anything. Kayla asking about eclectic. So far, so good. Look, this severe storm is going north of you in eclectic. You'll have to deal with all of this, and we will see if it continues behaving back here. So far, so good. It's a lot of rain. It's a lot of lightning. It's not fun, but it's at this point not really dangerous either. It's just a lot of rain and a lot of thunder and lightning. We don't see any damaging wind, tornado, or hail risk in this in central Watauga back into Lowndes. Eclectic's right up here. You will have to deal with this, though. Selma, you're done. Go to bed. Valley Grande, go to bed. Billingsley, go to bed. Independence, go to bed. Clanton, Jemison, Thorsby, Maplesville, all of Chilton County, go to bed. Almost all of Cusa County, go to bed. The exception would be if you live out near the landing. My buddy Herb out there at Parker Creek. That storm's coming right over that part of the lake. There's Willow Point right there. There's Kalijah. The landing will be right over here. We need to put a landmark on Barron for the landing. Y'all ever been to the landing up at Parker Creek? Man, life is good up there. It's a little restaurant. If you haven't been, it's right on the western side of Lake Martin. They have one over at Harbor Point on the east side too. You sit there, you look at the water. The food is outstanding. There's nice people around. The service is impeccable. There's a long line sometimes for the food, but cold drinks and a nice water view, there's worse places to stand in line, right? And no, this is not any sort of commercial for it. I just, if you've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and it really is like little fellowship there. So that storm pretty rough right over there. On the kind of the north side of the Needle. The Needle's that little part of Lake Martin right up here. So the Wilson residents getting a good heavy downpour right now. Not much lightning left in that. That's good. When the lightning trends down, typically the storm soon will do the same. But heavy rain, thunder, and lightning now coming in. Essentially, the northern half of Lake Martin will have it the worst. I think if you go south of about the Ridge Marina, it's not quite as bad. The worst of it will be, again, Parker Creek, and then back to the north side. That's 280 and the North Bridge up there. River North Marina sits right up there. Peanut Point is up on that side of the lake. So some of those northern landmarks on Lake Martin, heavy rain, some gusty wind, some thunder, and some lightning. Let's go back to that camera on the lake. It's not raining there yet, but maybe we'll start to see some lightning. If we can cut through the pollen, maybe we'll start to see a little lightning in the mix there as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. If anything, the rain will help clean the pollen out of the air a little bit temporarily for about 37 minutes, and then, of course, it will be back worse than it was before. I try to be an optimist, but when it comes to pollen, yeah, I don't know. Slap out's doing all right. It was actually WSFA TV commented and said, not hearing a lot about slap out tonight. So they're right. Storms over here into the Prattville area. It's raining hard in slap out now. It will rain harder between 1:30 and 2, and then after 2, this is all gone. There's no active severe weather warnings for slap out or any of Elmore County at this point. So overall, life's pretty good. But isn't life always good in slap out? Severe thunderstorm warning for Tallapoosa, southern Clay, far eastern Cusa. Then I want to go back down into South Alabama here in the Advanced Law Firm Storm Track Zone. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for much of Conecuh and Escambia counties now. So we'll zoom back into that part of the state. Strong wind gusts coming through Monroeville headed towards Evergreen, Georgiana, and Castleberry. So that severe thunderstorm warning clips southwestern Butler. It does not include downtown Greenville. Or Fort Deposit. It's Georgiana and southwest from there along 65 back through Evergreen and Castleberry. Torrential rain, heavy lightning, lots of thunder in the mix there. Some gusty wind as well, some risk of some damaging wind. Let's make sure we're not missing anything from a rotation standpoint here. So far, so good. The base velocity product, though, that's probably why they issued that severe thunderstorm warning. The raw radar data suggesting some 50, 60, close to 70 mile per hour winds within that. Now remember, radar is measuring these wind speeds above ground level. So I'm not telling you there's 68 mile an hour winds at the ground level. What I'm telling you is there's 68 mile per hour wind blowing within that thunderstorm above the ground. Some of that will make it down to the ground, probably not all of that. Probably closer to 58, 60, somewhere in there, depending on the exact physics of the storm, you know, with updrafts and downdrafts and all that. So that's the southern flank of this. And by the way, if that holds together, which I suspect it will, we will get some strong wind threat into parts of southern Butler, which is in that severe thunderstorm warning, but into Covington, Crenshaw, downstream. So if you live at Andalusia, at Opp, at Evergreen, Red Level, River Falls, Strawn, Georgiana, on over into southern Crenshaw, around Brantley, Dozier, that area. Heavy rain, thunder, lightning, and perhaps some damaging wind gusts are on the way in the next hour. So between now and about 2:30, we'll deal with some active thunderstorms coming out of Conecuh County and eventually into more of Covington, Butler, and Crenshaw counties, again, between now and 2:30. The live stream is back online. That's beautiful. The stream deck out here still looks most displeased with this situation. Sorry, Did he fix it from home? That's darn impressive. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Well, I'm going to get him to help me learn how to troubleshoot it too, so I can be more useful and not feel so like a fish out of water when it goes out next time. I'm talking to a producer who's talking in my ear, or a TMP, technical media producer, who's talking in my ear right now. So for those of you watching on the stream, I promise I'm not having a conversation with my son Casiro. If I did, it would be telling it how much I love it. Thank you very much. I appreciate you very, very much. What are y'all talking about tornado stuff in Autauga? There is no active tornado warning in Autauga County. There is no, particularly they're saying northern Autauga. These are just comments, but there is not a nickel's worth of rotation in Autauga County right now. So if you're seeing that on one of those automated radar apps, please, again, I promise you, there are some things that computers are really good at. They're better than me at a lot of things. Reading radar is not one of those things yet. It will be one day, I'm sure, but right now, human meteorologists will destroy those automated rotation detectors on your favorite radar app, even our radar app, the WSFA radar app. It's going to have those. If there's not a tornado warning, don't worry about it, because human forecasters are way ahead of the machines right now. So you'd be a lot cooler if that Sunkist was a Miller. Yeah. Probably so. And I promise you, max velocity does not have a better radar than we have. That is totally bogus. I'm not going to get into some kind of contest here, but if you want to have a competition between me and him about who knows Alabama neighborhoods, communities, weather patterns better, I would welcome that. That would be, we'd feel pretty good about that, wouldn't we? And the radar technology we have here is second to none. So I'm not, again, I'm not saying a single bad thing about anyone. I'm just saying, I was born at Jacksonville Hospital in Jacksonville, Alabama in 1982, and I went to college at Mississippi State, which is right across the state line, and I've lived in Mobile. Every TV market I've ever worked in has had an Alabama county in it, and I've been doing this a long time. So that's not an anti-MAX statement. That is a pro-WSFA statement, and we have a team of people who are in the same boat. So he's good at what he does, but I think we know the area, we know the weather, we know the technology, we know the landmarks, we know where you live, that sort of stuff. So, yeah. Again, that's not a grumpiness. With this weekend, by the time it gets into South Alabama, I'm at Enterprise and ready for bed. I think it probably will essentially maintain what it has now, which is honestly not a lot, right? The severe thunderstorm warning on that northern storm is now gone. They've allowed that to expire. You've got a severe thunderstorm warning into Conecuh, southwestern Butler, and Escambia. But even that, quite frankly, the damaging wind is possible within that, but there's not a nickel's worth of rotation right now. And frankly, even the damaging wind threat, it's not overwhelming. There is the radar showing 73 miles an hour there, sure, but remember that's a few thousand feet above the ground. Not all of that makes it down to the ground, right? Some of that momentum gets lost. So I would say there's probably some 60 to 65 mile per hour wind. Now, One thing that will help with this, ground truthing this is coming close to Evergreen now. There's actually a weather reporting station in Evergreen. So we will actually be able to see, as this thing comes through, what happens, right? What kind of wind speed do we have at Evergreen when this plows through? That is immensely helpful for us. So let me see if I can get the link on that. Evergreen. So the last gust they had was at 1:26 a.m. 5 minutes ago, 22 miles an hour. So there's Evergreen right there. It's Middleton Field's the name of the airport. So we will watch that. We're getting a weather update from that automated station there about every 5 minutes. So I suspect in the next few minutes we would see a pretty big spike in the wind speed there at Evergreen. Again, this is the only active severe thunderstorm warning in our area now. It is for Conecuh County, southwestern Butler, and much of Escambia County. The main concern here is damaging straight line wind. So I'll clear the radar off the screen there and go back to the more traditional radar signature they're used to seeing. Heavy rain within this, yes. Some kinks in that we would need to watch for the possibility of some rotation later. Right now we don't have any, but you know, this is a storm. It's on the southern flank of things. It's out by itself a little bit. Those are the kind of storms you have to keep an eye on in patterns like this. So that is precisely what we will do. Then back up to the north, this storm is really weakening pretty considerably now up into Tallapoosa. We will again do just kind of a welfare check on this thing, make sure we're not missing anything. A little bit of strong wind right there near Newside. Okay, some of that is, yeah, it's spinning a little bit. There's some rotation near Newside. I do not see any evidence of any kind of debris signature or anything that we may have missed, right? Let's watch the loop together here. Yeah, don't see any sort of debris. That's not surprising. I didn't think we would, but it's nice to not see it. We like that. Go back into the Maxwell radar again. Some rotation in new site in the last scan or two, but frankly, as new scans come in, it looks less impressive, right? There was a scan or two in there that caught my attention, but this is the kind of night this will be. You've got up and down this line, these little kinks here, kink, kink, kink. At any point, one of those could, in theory, spin up a quick tornado. The odds are low, but they're certainly not zero. So that's why we're kind of sticking with this thing right on through the middle of the night, keeping you ahead of the possibility of a quick tornado, quick little burst of wind. Back to that southern storm, Evergreen. We're still, strongest gusts we've had so far are still at 22. That's good news. A lot of comments. Any news for Jackson's Gap? Things are all right. Jackson's Gap. The worst of it is kind of fizzling out, honestly, but let me clear the telestration here. So we'll head into the greater Jackson's Gap area. Heavy rain approaching you now from the west, but look, hardly any lightning with this part of the storm. The main wind threat with that is north of you, and even there it's weakening. So heavy rain, sure, from that initial storm. And then look, you'll have to deal with some of this back here, but the overall severe weather risk is very low at Jackson's Gap, and give it an hour and it'll be over, because as I've said a few times now, the severe weather risk within this is essentially confined to the leading edge of it, right? Inside that box right now, that's where there is a risk of severe weather now and for the next 30 minutes. If you live west of that box, the risk of severe weather has ended. This is done. You've got a rainy night. It's not much fun. It's turning colder, but there's no more tornado threat. There's no more damaging wind threat. Again, if you live left of that box. Right of that box, we've still got a little ways to go in terms of watching this thing come on across the state. So Montgomery, coming into Montgomery now, out on the west side. Let's kill the telestration there. Strong wind with that out near Montgomery Regional Airport. Let's pop up that airport camera. Here is our Fly MGM cam. You can see lightning flashing across the sky. The wind will kick up here, I suspect, within the next few minutes. No weather concerns at Hyundai right now, no. Whoa, that was a big one. I could almost feel the heat from the TV. Not really. We call that a free X-ray in the storm chasing world. Millbrook, things are getting better. These comments, man, whew. All right. I'm trying to catch up. It's really difficult. There are a lot of comments, and some of them are from people who have enjoyed too many alcoholic beverages this evening. They say, look at the camera. I don't want to look at the camera, so I'm not going to do it. I'm just kidding. Again, I'm trying to look for questions and give you guys some good intel as best I can. Kalijah getting soaked. Yeah, there's the rain picking up at the airport. The wind really beginning to kick out here. This is the ASC Credit Union camera network. The shot here is out at Montgomery Regional Airport, and you can see torrential rain. The camera there having a pretty tough time. Man, that is kicking. Let's see if we can get some data on that. I'll check Evergreen as well. They've got a storm coming through there now as well that will probably cause a similar burst in wind. But the Montgomery camera, or the airport, we get an update there about every 2 to 3 minutes. So we will see quick. Evergreen, still the gust 22 is the strongest we've seen so far. Pouring rain now. Again, this is Montgomery Regional Airport. That's what it looks like on the ground level. This is the velocity data showing you how hard it is raining. Or how hard the wind is blowing. This is the rain that is falling now. And the airport's right out there kind of in that core. So see that right there? Again, that's Hayneville Road going back north. That's Katoma. Katoma Elementary School sits right up there. That's Highway 80 going west to Selma. That's 65 south headed to Hope Hull. That's 65 north headed back up towards the 85 interchange. This is Montgomery Regional Airport. It's pouring rain now. Torrential rain, some thunder, some lightning, some gusty wind. Look, this is not a fun storm, but it's also at this point in time not an exceptionally dangerous one. Here's what it looks like into downtown Montgomery. You'll notice that camera blowing around a good bit as well as that thick deck of storms comes on in from the west. It is going to pour rain in the capital city. There's going to be some thunder. There's going to be some lightning. There's going to be some gusty wind. At this point, we do not see major potential for any sort of damaging scenarios to unfold, but we're just... we're not quite there yet in terms of giving you a total all clear. Again, that's Montgomery. Let's go out to the wider perspective here. The entire line is starting to weaken a bit, right? We'll keep an eye on Tallapoosa. The Weather Service has allowed the severe thunderstorm warning up there to expire. I do not see any evidence of strong rotation. I do not see any evidence of a tornado. I don't see any evidence really of even widespread damaging wind, right? There's some strong wind up at the cloud level in some of this, but that's what it is. It's up at the cloud level. It's important to make that distinction, 55, 60 miles an hour. But given the lack of convection, most of this will not make it to the surface. When you see wind speeds like this, you would look for strong thunderstorm cores, updrafts and downdrafts. Specifically the downdrafts, they help vent that air, kind of duct it down towards the surface. When you see wind speeds like this, but the radar doesn't look all that impressive, that means most of this wind is staying up aloft, up in that storm. It's not making it down to the ground. So hopefully that trend continues, and I think it will, right? There's been a really clear trend in this storm. An hour ago, this storm had a lot of purple in it. It was really, really intense. Now it's beginning to weaken a little bit. There's still enough in it to watch, right? There's thunder, there's lightning, there's gusty wind. We'll keep an eye on it, but so far, so good. It's moving into cooler air, too. Temperatures up here in Chambers County and Randolph County and Clay County and northeastern Tallapoosa have dropped into the upper 60s. That helps us a lot, right? So it's not a get-out-of-jail-free card. We're not done with the risk of severe weather yet, but things do look pretty good there. Let's go into Elmore County. A couple of storms I'm watching there. Eclectic, and then another one up near Claude and north end of Wetumpka, and then the line of storms coming through Prattville. That one has an interesting shape to it. Let's go in and make sure we're not missing anything there. Don't see any type of significant rotation. Again, that's on the northeast side of Wetumpka. That's Highway 9 heading north right there. That's 63 heading north. There's Claude. Lehop would be out here. This is Highway 14. This is essentially traveling right along Alabama Highway 63. There is, again, no rotation in it, but the shape of it, almost like that little starfish tail at the bottom, you got to watch that. So we'll keep an eye on that. At this point in time, it's, again, like a lot of these things have been tonight, it's something to watch, but it's not anything to worry about right now. Then this line of storms goes from Slapout, Holtville, back down to Millbrook, Prattville, and the west side of the city of Montgomery. It is pouring rain now at Montgomery Regional Airport. It's pouring rain on Maxwell Air Force Base. Rain approaching Montgomery Whitewater, Hyundai, Pentlala, Hope Hull, and Hayneville. Raining hard at Leetahatchee now as well. And those showers and storms extend back down into Butler County, but there are no active severe thunderstorm warnings anywhere from Greenville north. They are all south of Greenville, including southern Butler, much of Crenshaw, southwestern Crenshaw, much of Covington, and a big chunk of Conecuh and Escambia counties. That's for damaging wind with the storm that's coming through Evergreen right now. Let me check the latest data on that Evergreen storm, see if we ever measured a stronger gust in there. 1:37 a.m., we measured a 37-mile-per-hour wind gust. Again, that's at Evergreen Airport within the last half hour or so. Then let's go to Danley Field. 47-mile-per-hour gust at Danley Field. So really strong wind gust within that. But remember, for a storm to be considered severe, it's got to be higher than that. It's up above 47 miles per hour, closer to 60, 58 to be exact. But so that's an intense storm, but it's not by definition a severe thunderstorm. That's why they don't have a warning up. But still, extremely windy weather now rocking in. We can show it to you live. The worst of it is out on the city's west side, so we'll look out towards Whitewater. You see the trees there swaying a little bit in the breeze. Beginning to rain a little there, but so far the worst of it is still a little bit west of Montgomery Whitewater. So with that in mind, we'll head to the Montgomery Regional Airport. And yeah, look at that. It is raining cats and dogs now. This is Danley Field, Fly MGM. This is the Montgomery Regional Airport. All of these cameras are part of the ASC Credit Union camera network. These cameras are invaluable on a night like tonight. They really allow us to show you what these storms are doing at ground level, which after all, radar is a great tool, but none of us live up there where the radar is seeing storms. Radar sees storms hundreds, if not thousands of feet above the ground. So it is very nice for us to be able to show you what's happening at ground level. And thanks to our friends at the ASC Credit Union, we can make that happen. So raining hard now, Montgomery Regional Airport. The rain beginning to pick up now on the west end of downtown Montgomery. We will pop back out. Let's see, we'll go back to the RSA camera. This is downtown, pretty wild. In downtown, the rain really hasn't started yet, but you can actually see the rain beginning to pour back closer to Interstate 65. So this is the view looking northwest from downtown Montgomery back into that approaching storm. And very soon you will see essentially a wall of water just sort of overtake this camera to go along with those frequent lightning flashes that we continue to see here in the Vance Law Firm Storm Track Zone. You've got this wall of water, torrential rain sweeping on in from the west now, coming into downtown Montgomery. On radar, you can see that line of storms approaching the capital city right now. So I think our 2 o'clock prediction was pretty good. It's a few minutes early, but the storm's just now arriving in downtown here at 1:45 in the morning. Let's head up to Wetumpka, the Wind Creek Casino and Hotel in the heart of historic Wetumpka. There's Montgomery Whitewater, raining hard there, but this is the real show. Again, this is the Wind Creek Casino and Hotel in downtown Wetumpka, where it is literally raining sideways right now. So pouring rain right now. Boy, the comments, man, killing it. Just killing it, people, just killing it. Man, that thing is rocking. Look at this. This is Wetumpka. And boy, I hope we don't lose that camera. It is raining sideways now with a massive burst of wind. This is downtown Wetumpka via the Wind Creek Casino and Hotel. And I would estimate just from the camera's reaction alone, you've got at least 45, maybe 50 mile per hour winds here with that thunderstorm complex coming out of there. We have already taken a wind gust to 47 miles per hour. That at Montgomery Regional Airport, 48 actually, at 1:40 a.m. we took a 48 mile per hour gust at Danley Field. So pouring rain here. This is again the Wind Creek Casino and Hotel in downtown Wetumpka. This is what that storm looks like now. And again, I've told you all along for days now, the worst of the weather will be right along the leading edge of that line, and that's exactly what we're seeing now. Let's keep an eye on that storm up near Claude. That's that Elmore County storm. The shape of it looks suspicious. The radar signature is underwhelming. I don't think there's enough in there to really grab our attention, but just because of the shape of that one, I want to keep kind of bouncing back and showing you that one on occasion. Now, Lake Martin, a few more storms heading through. These cells, this one and this one, those will move up over the lake. And then this entire line of storms that you see here, that's going to come east as well. So Tuskegee, Union Springs, Auburn, Opelika, Franklin, Notasulga, Dadeville, Pike Road. You haven't had much yet, but some heavy rain, some thunder, some lightning are on the way there with that thunderstorm kind of complex. There's a few individual cells, and then there's the big line itself. This is an I-65 special if I've ever seen it. It is pouring rain now. Severe thunderstorm warning with that storm on the southern flank. Let's go to the Mobile radar for that. Let's make sure we're not missing anything from a tornado perspective. I don't see any obvious signs of rotation in that. It's primarily a straight line wind signature. Coming out of Evergreen now, headed essentially right down Highway 84. So if you live in northern Covington, I mean Andalusia, Red Level, River Falls, up to Strawn, southernmost Butler, yeah, around Georgiana. If you live south of Highway 106 there in Butler County, let me zoom you in and show you what I mean. There's State Route 106 right there. If you live south of 106, Industry, McKenzie, Garland, strong wind likely for use. Obviously, stay indoors, but it's 1:49 in the morning. Don't think we'll have a big problem with that. And then eventually, if this storm holds together, more of this will get into northern Covington and southwestern Crenshaw, but that's kind of down the road a little bit. Back to the north, that's where we have the storms kind of coming through the Montgomery Metro right now. We'll pop back to the RSA Tower. And yeah, there's that wall of water that I told you would happen. It is pouring rain now looking out over downtown Montgomery. This is the view again from the RSA Tower. We have a few camera shots, though, into downtown. We can also take you to the State Capitol building here, looking at it anyway. This camera is actually straight above my head here on the roof of 445 Dexter, where the WSFA 12 studios are located. Then we'll look up Dexter Avenue into a very wet Montgomery night. Look at this. Now 10 minutes until 2 in the morning, and lightning crashes. Remember that live? How many 90s rock fans do we have watching this? Lightning crashes. Man, if you were a teenager in the 90s, that Lightning Crashes album was like must have. That one spoke to us, didn't it? Things were different then. That's Dexter Avenue. Here's Alabama State University. The worst of it just now beginning to arrive here over Hornet Nation. Frequent lightning blasting across the sky. It's windy outside. Torrential rain. We do not see any evidence of rotation in this, though. This right now is just a strong straight line wind scenario. The view here again, Alabama State University. Let's zip out a little farther east. Here's Auburn University at Montgomery. A little calmer there, but it's not going to last much longer. These heavy storms are less than 10 minutes away. So if you live out near AUM, get ready. Heavy rain, thunder, lightning, and gusty wind on the way for you. And then I want to go back out to Montgomery Whitewater, check on that. Raining heavily, but things a little calmer there than some of the other camera shots. And then Wind Creek Casino and Hotel in Wetumpka still looks like World War III. So, I mean, look at that. It is literally raining sideways there. I mean, that camera makes it look like it's just the lights lighting up. That looks like Desert Storm. Kind of the first war we all got to watch on CNN. Back to the whole 90s experience, right? But this is just rocking and rolling here. This is right along that leading edge of things coming into Wetumpka now. We'll pop back in up here again, just make sure we're not missing anything. Those storms, the shape of those just continues to, I just got to keep looking at them, man, just to make sure. I don't want to miss anything. So far, so good. Yeah, I mean, they're not showing a nickel's worth of rotation, but the shape of them, see that little miniature hook there, little miniature hook there. I am thankful that it is March and 2 in the morning and not April and 3 in the afternoon, because my suspicion is those would probably be doing some things we don't like. Wetumpka, let's again just make sure. We'll go up and down that line here. Don't see any rotation, just a lot of wind. Gusty wind, gusty wind, gusty wind. Little notch in the line down near Pinedale and southeast Montgomery. Some very weak rotation in that, but I'm not worked up about it, and you shouldn't be either. And then down that line down to Snowden, raining hard at Pentlala, Fleta. Ada and Sprague will soon get some heavier rain out of this, and then it curves from there back down into Lowndes County and Butler County. Raining hard now at Greenville. Raining near Bowling and Georgiana and Starlington and Grace and Mount Olive and Garland. So much of southern Butler County really getting hit hard now with strong gusty wind. And that makes sense. That's actually where we have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect. That storm moving towards the east. The worst of it will go up into northern Covington, southern Butler, and southwestern Crenshaw as we go between 2 and 3 o'clock this morning. So that is the lay of the land there. Let's get some more of our comments. Josh, can we go to bed and notice Solga? Sure, it is going to get a little stormier than you like in about 45 minutes to an hour. So between 2:30 and 3, notice Solga, you'll get a quick burst of wind. It'll rain really hard. There'll be some thunder and some lightning, and then life will get better. BT dubs, guys, it is going to get cold next week. I'm talking mid-30s, Monday night into Tuesday morning, and I think frost is becoming possible, if not likely, in spots early next week. So I hope you took my advice and haven't planted anything that could be harmed by frost, because I'm afraid if you have, you may end up losing it, because there's the evidence is high that we will deal with some patchy frost into the early part of next week. Josh Nichols, it's good to have you, man. I welcome you back. Joey Seeger said that is a fantastic album. It is. It really is. I feel like we should have more people talking about that. Hashtag weather party, for sure. So there's your line. Let's do another thing. So it's essentially 2 o'clock and the line is here. We will draw a line about like that. I think that's pretty close to your 3 a.m. line. Then we'll draw a line that looks about like that. That's going to be close to your 4 a.m. line. And then we'll draw a line that looks about like that. That's going to be close to your 5 a.m. line. So again, the storms will be around there by 3, close to that line by 4, and close to that line by 5 o'clock. Again, these times are very much approximate, but so far so good. We've been timing this out pretty accurately for you tonight. So 3 to 5 a.m., Auburn, Union Springs, Troy, Brundage, Andalusia, Opp, Elba, Enterprise, Ozark. etc., kind of east and southeast Alabama. This is clearing Montgomery soon. The only active severe thunderstorm warning we have is down in the southern sections of the state, Conecuh, southern Butler, and northwestern Covington. We do not have any evidence of any kind of rotation at this point. But, you know, it's weather, right? So we will have to kind of just watch and wait. Josh, what does the rotation look like over Tallapoosa County near Dadeville? Really not much. Let's clear the screen here, go back, check out these storms. We want to make sure that they are behaving. And they are, right? Don't see any overwhelming rotation in this. Some stronger wind up there, but you're getting out kind of, getting into some weird stuff up around Wadley and Roanoke. At this point, it just looks like strong wind, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. The storm's becoming a lot more kind of cellular in nature. If this was the middle of the afternoon, that would be pretty concerning, but in the middle of the night, it's a little less concerning. Those storms that were shaped funny earlier, we're losing a little of that. That's good. We like to lose that. It's pouring rain now with Wetumpka back all the way down to 231 through Montgomery. Lots of thunder and lightning in this too. So a lot of you are getting roused out of bed by loud thunder, and you're joining us now on Facebook, YouTube, or on the WSFA family of apps. Thank you for joining us. We've been streaming live now since 11 o'clock tonight, or last night. Yeah, 11 o'clock last night. So that's now 3 hours of streaming weather coverage. How about that? How many more hours will we go? We'll see. I think I'll probably carry this until we don't have any warnings for a little while. And yes, you were right, by the way. One of the comments corrected me. The name of that live album was not Lightning Crashes. That was one of the hit singles from it, or hit songs on the album, but the album was named Throwing Copper. So, terrible memory mistake on my part, but I appreciate that correction. Thank you. Is the Millbrook-Deansville area done with about 50 question marks? Yes, you are. Go to bed. These comments, man. Lord. Kimberly, no, they do not know where they are on the map. They just ask about their city over and over and over again, and I draw things on maps and I call out a bunch of cities, and they do not pay attention long enough to know what's happening. So I'm going to do it again. I'll start with the map approach, and then I'll name cities. If you live anywhere left of that line, the risk of severe weather is over for you. If I say your city name next, that means you're done with severe weather. There is no more severe weather for Demopolis, Linden, Uniontown, Marion, Selma, Orville, Sardis, Richmond, Camden, Millers Ferry, Pineapple, Pine Hill, Monroeville, Beatrice, Vredenburg, Fort Deposit, Lounsboro, Leadahatchee, Prattville, Millbrook, Cusata, Deatsville, Slapout, Pine Level, Marbury, Billingsley, Clanton, Verbena, Jemison, Thorsby, Rockford, Wheelguffguff, Flag Mountain, Kellyton, Ray, Pentonville, Speed, Alex City, Dadeville, Jackson's Gap still in a little bit. But everywhere left of that line, even west of Montgomery, the risk of severe weather west of Interstate 65 in Montgomery County has ended. I think, we'll go ahead and say this. If you live anywhere west of Interstate 65, it's over. No more severe weather for you. It is exclusively now east of Interstate 65. It's where we have that ongoing severe weather risk. Now, if you live in these places that I'm about to name, you still have some risk of severe weather. It's fairly limited, but it's not zero. East Montgomery, Pike Road, Wetumpka, Eclectic, Tallahassee, Dadeville, Jackson's Gap, Franklin, Notasulga, Auburn, Opelika, Smith Station, Beauregard, Valley, Lynette, Lafayette, Union Springs, Alliance, Little Texas, Union Springs again, China Grove, Troy, Orion, Banks, Brundage, Josie, Eufaula, Clio, Texasville, Libertyville, Ozark, Elba Enterprise, Dothan, Geneva, Kinston, Sampson, Andalusia, Florala, Laverne, Brantley, Highland Home. You still have some risk of severe weather. Greenville, it's over you now, but give it 20 minutes, the risk of severe weather will be over in Greenville. And that's really about it as far as I-65 goes. Everything this way, it's just rain. There's no more severe weather threat left of this line. Right of this line, we still got to watch it, but so far so good. Things are behaved pretty well. So I hope that helps. It probably doesn't, because for better or for worse, it is really, this will sound grouchy. These phones have made it to where none of us can pay attention for as long as we could before. And I'm guilty too, but I think for particularly people who grew up on them, I think we will look back and say, you know, that probably wasn't a great developmental tool. We thought technology and having all the sum of human knowledge in our hands would be a great educational tool. I'm not sure it was. I think it damaged our attention spans, our ability to listen. I think we trained our brains to where if something isn't immediately fascinating and visually stimulating in the first 3 seconds, we're done, we clock out, we go to a different place. And I'm just not sure those things were good. So I'm not anti-technology. Clearly, I'm streaming a weather segment with all the technology in the world. But I do think that we probably introduced them to young people at the wrong time and in the wrong frequency. I think we overdid it a little bit, and I think attention spans have suffered. There you go. Do they know which way west is? Some of them don't. And look, like, that's another part of it. Like, in the old days, not even old days, 25 years ago, you wanted to go somewhere. Like, I remember printing out directions to go on a school visit when I worked in Meridian, Mississippi 20 years ago. That seems crazy now. Like, that, if you said that to someone like Madeline's age, some of the people who work here that are in their low 20s, they would look at you like you had 3 heads. But you had to kind of pay attention to the road a little bit, because you either had a paper map or some directions that you had either written down or printed. And now you don't have to pay attention to any of that. And that's not a bad thing. I think fewer people get lost now probably than did before, because the phone tells you turn here, turn here, turn here. But when it comes to weather, maps really aren't that effective anymore. So that's why I try to list the cities too. I really do try to help. Meth good, phone bad. That's funny, man. That's pretty good stuff. So, all right, still pouring rain. In a lot of places now, including East Montgomery. Let me take you out to Auburn University of Montgomery now. Show you the great deluge of 2026. And you know, hey, we're in a drought. That's maybe a silver lining to all of this. It is raining hard now. This is Auburn University of Montgomery. Torrential rain falling there now. This is the ASC Credit Union Camera Network. Radar still lit up. Let's go up and down the line here. We'll begin on the northeast side of it. Showers and thunderstorms now into much of Tallapoosa County. These have weakened a bit. We do not see as much of a wind damage signature in this. Let's make sure we're not missing anything from a rotation perspective. Quick peek there, we're not. Let's go back down into Elmore, Montgomery County. Again, same thing. I don't see much in the way of rotation here. There are a couple of shapes here, though. This is one. Look at that. This is right along the Tallapoosa River near Dozier Road. That little shape right there, that's the kind of thing you have to watch for. So we don't see any actual rotation in it. So when you look at this, think of this as like when you walk into a doctor's office and you tell them your elbow hurts. What's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to look at your elbow. Like if it's bent the wrong way, okay, well, clearly he's got an injury. Clearly she's got an injury. They're going to do a physical examination. That's what this is. This is us just looking at the shape of a storm and saying, that could be not great. That could be good. That could be bad. When you see a shape like this, you go, that could be bad. Let's look into that. So like a doctor, we have additional tools. This is our visual examination. This is our X-ray. We can look into the storm and say, okay, well, do I see anything there that's jumping out? And there is some rotation here. That's a new scan, so it's jumped ahead a little bit, but there is a little bit of rotation out there. This would be south of Rifle Range Road, between Rifle Range Road and the Tallapoosa River in southern Elmore County. Is there enough rotation to convince me of a tornado? Absolutely not. In fact, it's really not even close to that. But these are the type of dynamic situations with some wind shear in the environment where you have to kind of keep an eye on that sort of thing. And the first thing we look at is the shape of the storm. When you start to see these little notches sticking out of the line of storms, that's where you can have problems. So our first thing is to look and see the shape of it. Then we take our X-ray. Boom. We look in there and say, okay, well, there's some rotation. Or in this case, there's really not a lot going on. So we'll do that sort of up and down the entirety of the line here. So we've looked through that. Good there. Back down into Montgomery County, this is really more showery rain. It's downpours, sure, but I don't see any kind of rotation, and I don't even see enough. I don't think there's any wind damage occurring in that either. I think, again, that's just sort of downpours. Then we'll get down into Butler County. We'll need to switch over to the Mobile radars. It's a bit closer. Greenville really probably needs a radar closer to it too, but it's a battle for another day. Do not see anything in the way of rotation. You do see maybe a little better wind damage signature down here south of Georgiana in Conecuh County. That'll go on over into Covington, but even that at this point, you know, the maximum gust we had at Evergreen, let's look that up. The maximum at Montgomery when the storm came through so far I've seen is 48 miles per hour. At Evergreen, 24, let's see, a 38. So the max gust we had at Evergreen was at 1:48 a.m. was 38 miles per hour. Since then, it's gone down. All that to say, the core of this storm went almost directly over a reporting station, and we didn't have anything close to damaging wind. That's good, but still, you know, some of these, the core has kind of reformed a bit into southern Butler, so you have to watch that for some strong wind south of near Georgiana and just south of it. And again, this is one of these where the shape, see the shape? Almost that backward C, that's a little miniature bow echo. You can get some strong straight line wind along that as that comes across southern Butler and over into Crenshaw and northern Covington. So that's the state of affairs as of 2:08 in the morning. And again, we try to message this a lot. And we say things we've never said before over the last few years in an attempt to message it better. For 99% of you, it's just rain and some wind and some thunder and lightning. That's it. We want to create realistic expectations for you. We do not want to ever hype the weather. We do not want to